We am
We am
live.
live.
What's going on, guys? So it's Sunday, which means we're doing the ReRISE review and discussion. Actually, it means he's going to be doing most of the talking because I'm dead exhausted. If you follow the secondary channel, yep, pop a pepper. Got to pop a pepper. Go if you want to know what's going on and you want to know why I'm so exhausted and hurting. Go watch the secondary channel. There will be vlogs all about it. I've been vlogging a lot lately, and just go subscribe to the secondary channel. I saw you, the one person who unsubscribed this weekend. I saw you. It was a 225. Now it's a 224. Come back. But up on the channel this past week, I had, I think, a Beastbox review, an In the Kitchen video, Planet X Ratchet, and then not a video that won't come out till tomorrow. So I will be having all the Core Gundam review tomorrow. No Master Grade Monday, so we'll just have to put up with it. And then working on a lot of other things at the same time. So someone needs to silence their yeah, that's the notification that we went live. So what do you got going on your channel this past week that people need to go watch?
Let's see. I got my review for the BB-20 SD God. What is it called?
Godmaru.
Godmaru.
Yep, it's Godmaru.
Which that's a cool one. You guys should check that out.
As featured in the Gundam Build Divers Try.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until like I was looking up information because I wanted to make sure I like parsed the name correctly because I wasn't sure if it was like 3 words or 2 words or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I have my review of the War for Cybertron Netflix Hot Link. And that one's done pretty good, actually, considering it's a non-Beast Wars Transformer review on my site. So I'm getting some more traction on my Transformer reviews. It's nice.
Yeah, that happens occasionally. Well, see, you know what's really funny is going back to my little Beast Wars reviews from a couple weeks ago. Black Arachnia is still stuck under 90 views, but Rat Trap is like at 130. So it's like, people just not like Black Arachnia? I don't know. It's weird.
I think girls have cooties. I don't know.
I don't know. But like in that last week or so that I did, build 4 kits and then review them all at once. So guys, make sure you watch that video tomorrow. It's not a Master Grade Monday. Okay, it's fine. I do have some cool stuff coming in this week, so there'll be another In the Kitchen video. But if you want to see some other stuff that I got in recently, go watch the vlogs because I opened up late coming boxes over there. And then on the secondary channel, I actually had a couple of reviews pop up in the last couple of weeks, and not enough people are watching them, such as my little Cthulhu ponies, which are just fun, very simple. Let's see here. We got a lot of people in the chat. We got Arturo J. Briano. What's going on? Card 995. Hida. Jerry Leal. Plasmarks. Ben R. Tesla Effect. Oh, ReRISE has been elevated to my top 5 Gundam series. Cool. And as I told you, yeah, and like I said to you the other day on Thursday, I was like, people who say ReRISE is a garbage Gundam series or isn't a Gundam series are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. Hurricane Just Revolt. So we got new people this week. What's going on, guys?
Oh, hello, new people.
Welcome. Hello, new people. Feels Diver Recry. That's funny. Also, guys, we are going to be going through the episode chronologically as we're reviewing it. So don't jump ahead. Don't be talking spoilers. We'll get to it eventually. And because I have like over 50 screenshots this week, I'm going to be busy. So he's going to be doing most of the talking. I'll do some color work and I'll be running the thing. So the good news is I don't have to do that much this week. I can literally just participate and make sure that pictures move across the screen accordingly. So let's see here. I'm curious as to what Shoki's going to think this week. Why?
Of the
current, that's what Doobie said.
The current video or the current episode?
Seed 4212 says, "Yo, just start up." Start up what? This is what we do. We chit chat. We let people get here first. So we usually go for about 10 minutes. If Build Divers is trash, ReRISE is recycled. I mean, yeah, but especially with this episode, makes ReRISE more important. Like, so that's what my argument has been for the last couple of weeks, is that, yeah, Build Divers wasn't good, but this series is retroactively making it good by adding context. It's weird. I actually went back last week after our previous discussion to go check out some stuff, the people they brought up, and some of the things that we discussed, such as when we saw last week that Eve was kind of curing Sarah with breaks, and I was trying to compare the damage areas that she was in to where she was in the series, and nothing truly coincided, but it was the same amount of events. So it was 3 and 3, basically. And then also Androius brought up a thing last week. It was about looking at Sarah's pet. And I looked into it and I showed you this.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a weird blonde looking thing. I forgot what they called it, a really weird name. Not an homunculus, but carbuncle. Called it a carbuncle. It's like some kind of mystical rare item creature. And it does have a little thing in its forehead. But obviously after this episode, we know now it can't be Eve because it existed before Eve.
But I will say that person, that was, when I saw that and you showed me the images, I was like, oh my God, are we onto something?
Yeah. And I haven't checked it. The color was very close to Eve's hair. Very close, but it was not.
So unless there's some timey-wimey stuff happening, which I suppose it's always possible, but we haven't done that, at least not yet.
No, I'm pretty sure in this episode kind of proves that it can't be. Well, I mean, she purchased it from the store while Eve was still alive. So there's no way she could beat Eve. But yeah. Let's see. Actually, just watch this episode so I can discuss it with you. Cool. Shoki's just like, I'll just play with pretty pictures this stream. Hey, it still took a while. Like he's been getting his notes done like super early and going way more into detail than he used to. So like last week I did only the first half of notes and then went off of his, and then I just use his notes to just quickly get the clips that he needs. This week I'm like, I'm too tired to take my own notes. We're not really going to have any different details. So it's like, I'm just going to go get all the screenshots. And then obviously as we talk about it, we'll get there. Yeah, Tesla, it does make Build Divers more important. Yep. Carbuncle was a Final Fantasy summon. Oh, okay. Definitely agree. It makes Build Divers a little bit better. Yep. Eve was the friend we made along the way. It's funny. If there is an Eve, where is Adam? As far as we know, there are no male L-divers.
There was a couple of silhouettes from that time where they were talking about the 92, was it, or something?
83.
Like 83?
Yeah, or 87.
And if you consider the manga Rise or whatever it's called, canon, that's the main character for that is a male L-diver, I believe.
That aside, in series, we have seen no male L-divers. They've all been female.
In the series, we've only seen 3, if I remember correctly, right? We've seen May,
Eve, and Sarah. Yeah. So Jerry says 72. Androius says 87. So yeah, I'm pretty. Jerry, I think you're thinking of the 72 lesser demons or demon. It's like, I'm pretty sure it was 87. Yeah. I said 83 at first. I'm pretty sure it's 87. Don't forget Core Gundam Rise. Yes, we know about that. It's fine. Well, we don't know, but it's there. We got 18 people watching. We're almost 10 minutes in. We'll go to a full 10 minutes. That would give a lot of people a chance to jump in. Not everybody sees the stream when it goes live. But yeah, I had a thought and then I forgot what it was. There is a thing that I posted last week on the Shoki page, if you're not following me on Facebook, that may be important to something that's mentioned in this episode. And it was a screenshot from one of the final battles in the final episode of regular Divers. And I went, holy shit, how did I miss that? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go over to the Shoki Facebook and go look at that.
Trying to remember what you post now, because I'm on your Facebook thing, but I can't remember now.
It was the thing that I went, wait a minute, this looks like something that happens in ReRISE. You don't remember?
I'm drawing a total blank. I'm tired, and I'm a part of several different groups.
Oh, of course. Okay, we just jumped to 22. All right. Evil Alice person was originally male before the reboot. Alice is still technically a male, but he's kind of androgynous in the first place.
And whether or not you can count him as an L diver,
he's not an L diver. He jumped an AI.
Yeah.
Finally made
he's
one.
An electronic life form, but he's not diving into GBN. So
yeah, that's assuming his just isn't just enough AI to reason his job, basically. Blockio, what's up? Ron Trez Beauregard. He said finally made one. Cool. What up? All right, 24. I liked it in the first 10 minutes. We're getting more people than we could ever get during the Origin stream. Nobody wanted to talk Origin with us. Everybody wanted to talk ReRISE.
Well,
all right.
Origin was old news. This is new hotness.
Yes, but it was new news to me. That's why it matters.
Okay.
Fine. So, hold on. I got.
I'm waiting.
I got to do share screen. It's one thing I didn't have set up yet.
Hopefully, you got the pictures set.
Pictures are already open. And yes, I used 0 pictures you sent me. Well, you send it to me on a Google Doc. It's like it's easier for me just to get my own because of the way I do them. Plus, you don't number them; you title them like a weirdo.
Because I like giving them esoteric names.
Shut up. In the beginning.
We open with the end of the first coalition battle, which is we're seeing right there. Riku's that's still the 00 diver, right? He doesn't upgrade until after this.
That's the 00 diver with the ace pack.
Yeah.
That's what the flat GN drives after they erupt. After Sarah touches his hand and he goes and then he sprouts a big green energy boners out of his GN drives.
Can't take you anywhere, Shoki.
It's my fucking show.
So here,
but I do like that we see this from their point of view.
Yeah, this is super cool because we're seeing there's several scenes like this where we see it from some other angle point of view, and it just adds extra context. What do you
hold on, Carlos?
Something occurred to me. Hiroto has been telling his story for the past 2 months.
He started this story 2 episodes ago.
It's a really long story. And
yeah, apparently he had to hold his breath. He had to hold his breath for two months. That's funny. Everybody was just showing up. Yes, we're just getting started. Yes, a girl touched my hand. Hold on. Even worse, an e-girl touched my hand. So he really is a simp. I know we had the simp argument last week, but yeah, he is a simp for an e-girl. Even gives her all the money whenever they win the big battle thing, so she can go buy herself a big shiny pet. Anyways,
so Hiroto wonders what those wings are. That was the Gunpla responding to everyone's feeling, a miracle created by GBN. And
sure
he basically goes on to explain everything that's happening, saying how everyone's Gunpla responded to their wish to protect GBN.
Yes.
To be fair, Shoki could have made a lot worse. And then after that, we go to another time. She's sitting atop Kor's hand. She says she loves this world. They say it's artificial, but that's why I can feel them. The passions, the heartbeats, the breath of those who built it. It's so warm and filled with life. So this is kind of neat because it's the same sort of stuff she talks about with Gunpla, but she's also just talking about the GBN. Effort and work that went into making GBN. So show support to your video game developers.
Hold on, I have to answer a question. Doovie Gumpla. It's literally Shoki reviews on Facebook. Shouldn't be there to determine. Also, whether or not you saw that, I had the nice little image of from Eve's point of view when things were kind of healing. So she wasn't with him in the Jupiter. She was back in their home base, so to speak.
The grassy hill.
Yeah, so she was watching with him during that. It was kind of a little weird. Shoki reviews his Facebook. Yes, it's also in the description. Yes, links to all my stuff is in the description. I do not link to his YouTube channel anymore because I have to stay ahead of him in subs now.
In that case.
Oh no, as if I don't have the notes. You don't pop up on Facebook search? That's odd. Must be spelling it wrong.
Anyway, so Hiroto agrees, saying it's not just Gunpla, but the world itself has been created from someone's feelings. Eve asks if he loves GBN, and he says he does, and that makes her happy. It's all nice and happy, but just making everything that's coming up all the worse.
once again, incredible artwork.
Yes, this entire episode has just
look at the lens flare.
Yeah,
look at that. J.J. Abrams would be proud. And actually, hold on, Jerry made a good point. Well, maybe it's a good point. He said Eve never left the test server. No, that's not true. She was with him at that battle site.
Yeah, so we see her like in the crowds. We see her in the crowds when he was doing the like the sword contest, whatever that was. She was there cheering him on.
Well, I don't even mean that. The battle where he goes nuts and destroys everything in just a core Gundam.
Oh, yeah, too. Too.
So I think they had the realization of, hey, this is going to be a big, ridiculous battle. You probably shouldn't come with me. Even though he doesn't know she's an Eldiver. She probably said, no, I'll stay behind. Because she probably knows that she'll get destroyed. Now, that brings up a very interesting point as to what happens in this episode. Do Eldivers really have a life in GBN? Like, if they die or what's the word I'm looking for? Damage out. Now, after they've been rescued and taken out, but back then it never came up.
Because May even has a like an ID, GBN ID number as seen by the alien text that you translated.
Yeah, she has a diver number because she's technically diving. That's why she's an L diver. So before that, they're technically just L's. Tying it to 00.
Yeah, except later, even in this episode, they refer to Sarah specifically as an L diver. But obviously, I imagine it is based off of the name comes from as inspiration about the L's. Considering particularly the previous season, they were very into all the 00 stuff.
Yeah, I'm reading the comments. Yeah, it's fine. I'm just reading the comments.
Okay, so she turns away with a serious expression, says or thinks. It's kind of confusing here because her lines are delivered, but she's not moving her mouth. About how they have to protect this world, the possibilities of life being born from wishes and feelings, and she trails off.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was internalized, which I once again find interesting that an electronic life form has inner monologue.
Yeah, right.
It's like they can not say something out loud in a world that is nothing but electronic. Like, it's one thing for Sarah because we never saw things from her point of view, really. We only ever saw them from, everyone else's view around her. The only time it was sort of like that is when she ran into her mirror self. But it's weird to think that, she's definitely not speaking. She turns away from Hiroto and thinks internally, and it seems to happen a couple times throughout this. So half of this is Hiroto telling this story. Half of it is her point of view of, well, maybe not half, but some of it is part of her point of view of what happened to.
Yeah, there's a lot of like nested flashbacks in here. It's like this frozen all backstory.
Hold on. What is happening back here? People die if they're killed. And Jerry's like, just because you're right doesn't mean you're correct. Well, I guess if we're gonna go there, but it's not, because we've never seen up until later in this episode an Eldiver encounter what happens when they are damaged out, so to speak, prior to having the whatever the chips are that let them out. Not brake decals, but I forgot the name of it. It's something. It'll come to me eventually. But either way, we're almost to the intro.
Yep. It's like, and now we're back to when she asked him to erase her. Her smile still shining in the night. Yeah, I wrote this all flowery. And then we get the opening credits.
Yeah, this is a really nice shot too, by the way. Less creepy than last time.
Yeah, though knowing what's going on here, the smile makes me sad.
Now, if you notice with this episode, there's like three, maybe four main color palettes: blue, purple, and yellowish orange.
Mm-hmm.
It's either at sunrise, the middle of the night with water or whatever, or when all the stuff is happening. So it's pretty interesting to just went with solid color palette, so you knew which situation you were going into.
Very
build decal. Thank you.
Yep. What was it called?
A build decal.
Okay.
You think that makes sense?
The
I would have called it
opposite of a
something
brake
else.
decal.
Yeah, because it's meant to build things. I mean, that technology is ridiculous. They reverse their own technology to literally make plastic move around and contain a soul, basically.
Oh yeah.
It's like and I know they discussed it at the end of the original Divers series, but they combined the GPD technology of moving Gunpla with the consciousness stealing and condensing of GBN, combined with the brake decal to lock things into place. It's just like, I mean, that's like the most ridiculous combination of technologies from this world.
Only in anime.
Well, yeah, if it was reality, it'd be even scarier. I would download into Skyrim, and then when I come back, I'm going to bring the Dragonborn with me and put him in the toy so he can wander around and yell Volsra died things.
Come back, see your bookshelves knocked over.
Like he's fighting the Gunpla, just cleaving things in half. No! Wait, isn't that just small soldiers?
A little bit.
Except those were AI constructions put in the toys, right?
Yep. They used like military grade hardware for the circuits on that.
Yeah, hold on.
Yes.
Yep. Japan making e-girls reels in 2021.
Anyway, so after the opening credits, Hiroto is confused and upset over the request. He asks her what she means, which, I mean, it's obvious, but he's also really upset.
I don't know why he would be. He doesn't even know what she's talking about.
Yeah, and then she glitches.
It's a hard glitch. Sorry. Okay, so that went down the wrong pipe. So the last time she glitched in the previous episode, it was like just one, maybe 2 frames. So it was actually hard for me to catch it. This actually was a sustained glitch that I was able to just go think and get the screen cap, no problem. So it was getting worse, like as she talked. Gunpla in the cupboard. Magic Detolf, bring Gunpla to life. Let's make it an anime, guys. Somebody do it.
That's what the next build series will be about.
Toy Story all over again. Toys are just Divers. No, that's just magic in the Pixar universe. Don't get me started on the Pixar theory.
So Hiroto's surprised, and he asks if like there's something wrong with her system.
Sorry, the comments are pretty good. Nope, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Man, Divers is pretty realistic, and I remember Divers. Oh yeah, remember
And the whole,
the whole moral
connecting,
quandary of the show.
and then connecting to a body made out of special particles on the other side of the universe, connected with
Sand. It's
that's not
sand. It's shining sand, Thomas. Eve thought, oh no, no, Mandalorian Blue.
Do I even want to know?
Eve.exe has stopped working. Oh no. You just Control Alt Delete. No.
Oh, we're getting there. So he asks her if there's like something wrong with her system, I guess, assuming that like there's something wrong with the console she's logging in. And then everything starts clicking into place. And he's like, wait, no, where are you? Where have you been connecting to? What's going on here?
Nebraska.
That's when she starts explaining everything.
She's like, no, fuck this. I'm not a real girl. I'm not real. I just exist.
Yeah, she said she was born and lives here, that she was made from his and everyone else's feelings. This GBN is all I can cherish in the whole world. So I try to hold it back as much as possible, but it's been spawning bugs, which even now spread endlessly across the world. And
okay, so let's pause there.
Yeah.
That specific statement is what I was referring to. So this is going on, with one of the previous major things that kind of coincided. So last week we saw her absorbing and purifying Sarah's, which we determined to be where the major bugs and breakages were happening near and around Sarah. Now, they always blamed Sarah for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of suggests it wasn't Sarah. It was just kind of after her or happening near her, because it's easy to target an L-diver as it's not supposed to be there in the first place. We said it is creating bugs. It is causing the glitches. What do we know that is alien is pink and purple?
Oh.
And breaks into things and takes over them. So I posited it last week that Alice was the source of the glitches in GBN and was only capable of doing so because the L-divers were there. Because we see the
thought.
Now, I'll bring up more stuff along this line later, but the fact that she says it was doing
that also
this
makes all of this all the more tragic, because all the stuff that's happening here isn't even remotely their fault then.
Nope. It's not had nothing to do with the L-divers specifically. Now, here's the other point. The thing that I shared from last week before I discovered my AC wasn't working. Go watch the vlogs if you want to know more about that. The thing I shared was from the final battles, and it was the corrupted raid boss that kept popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it legitimately had a one-eye Alice-controlled red eye.
The Eldorian alphabet I symbol.
So, if that giant raid boss was one of Alice's first attempts to break into GBN and do whatever the heck he was doing, because we already know they have access.
Yeah, because we've seen that he's looked at videos of Hiroto among everything else, because when they went in there, they saw that he had windows up looking at various events and going-ons at GBN.
Yeah. And if you notice, of course, everything that goes wrong is always pink energy. Everything. When it's breaking through GBN, and especially what is about to happen to her, it's all pink and purple energy coming out of her. So if Alice was awake and GBN is what he found, whether he found that due to Kuadorn or otherwise. Kuadorn came in much later, like this is 2 years before Kuadorn. So Alice is already awake.
So do you think that means there's a connection between Alice and the brake decals? We know who made the brake decals, but
I don't think so. I think that was a weakness in the system because the brake decals did do damage, would allow the firewall to come down and allow. Because I mean, you're coming from 30 light years away, you're already stretching it out thin. But he knows about Gunpla. He gets stronger, and we just coincidentally get an enemy mutated looking Gunpla that has a one-eye. It's like, come on. But then, because of all the glitches, whether they go hand in hand, like brake decals were causing the issues. The arrival of Divers, which we know are connected to the ancients somehow.
Yeah, we still don't.
And now you haven't. And we know that Alice has access to GBN and can, if nothing else, watch. And if all the firewalls and the walls of reality were breaking down, and Alice just wanted to come in and take a look around, and then started fighting stuff there. Not to mention he's looking for his masters. Either way, I bet we'll find that out eventually.
Yes.
Alice was testing his abilities with GBN. Yep.
So let's see, where were we?
This is why I told you to put spaces so you can put spacers and headers. Exactly. If you have spaces and headers, you'll know exactly where you are when you leave off. Either way, this is happening.
Yeah.
Pink and purple.
So I've tried to keep it inside myself, but this continues. And Hiroto's trying to get her to explain things so that he understands, but he's kind of thick. Ever since that miracle saved GBN, its side effects have appeared everywhere. Those wings, that miracle was created by everyone's feelings, but also by this is a backlash to it. And we see purple lightning starting to arc across the sky.
And then it like shatters, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, I'm at my limit. Someday, no, very soon, I'll be consumed by it and become a huge bug, which I really wish they had a
better translation for that.
Because it sounds silly when it's a very not silly scene.
Now, hold on just a second. So they're talking about the admins of GBN not noticing that there was potentially literally an alien invasion. I'm like, you're assuming that the admins of GBN aren't the ancients. Because it's starting to lean that way. It's starting to lean that way. And like I've been positing since we found that out. I was like, wait, what if GBN was just their earthly interpretation of the incarnation system? And it's way easier. You literally create a life you want. You don't have to have real matter.
Besides, we already knew that the game master he didn't know what the heck was going on with Sarah at first, and they had to do an investigation to figure out everything.
And it was only Miss Tori who told them what was up. They didn't know. They just like, okay, we know that she's causing these problems. We don't know why. And then they talked to her, and it's like, yeah, she's a new form of life. She was created by the thoughts and feelings and leftover bits of data from Gunpla and the users. Just happened to be a cute gray-haired girl. Moving on.
So purple glow starts emitting from her heart. If that happens, GBN, everyone's our GBN. I don't want that. And then we see a huge rush of purple energy shoot out from her. Same sort of effect that we saw from the brake decals. Hiroto's calling out to her.
It's literally breaking, like, at this point, all of the... So like she said, she basically tried to purify and absorb the damage that happened. And so she's taking that glitch. She took those bugs into her.
Yeah, and so she just, like, absorbed it and, like, practically, I imagine it's like she concentrated it inside of her. It's all in one place.
And there's still a thing that I'm trying to rectify it with. There was another series that something very similar happened, and like the character had to return to whatever to be purified and to save them, but I cannot recall what it is. In a way, it reminds me of the dark Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball GT. You know, they weren't resetting in time, or like they were using them too often. The negative offset of all the positive that was happening built up inside the Dragon Balls until they ruptured and the dark dragons came out. kind of in a similar manner. So, except that she's absorbing the negative energy, the things that are breaking reality, trying to keep it within herself, and then it just erupts because it has nowhere to go, and then it's just, you know, orders of magnitude greater because it's all concentrated.
Mm-hmm. So she starts pleading with us, like, please, I've already become something that I can't remain in this world. But that child, my little sister, we see more darkness spewing out of her. Hiroto's confused, buffeted by the energy. We see him reflected in her eyes. This is an amazing shot. I love this.
Yeah, that's why it's also in the thumbnail.
It's like, I'm sorry I kept this from you. And Hiroto's like, you're asking me to kill you? No. This is where things are getting really sad.
Yeah.
She has her hands grasped and the head bowed in prayer. It's like, I won't die. I'll just return to the sea of data along with the bugs. Everything will be put back in place. Please, Hiroto. It's like, I won't die. I'm just going to a farm upstate. And Hiroto's like, no, I can't. How could I? Storm erupts around her. The sky is starting to fall. It's getting really bad.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, it's in a small-ish world. You know, it's this private practice area. So it's like gonna just devastate everything, you know.
It's like,
but you notice how it doesn't affect anything real. Doesn't affect the Gunpla, doesn't affect Hiroto, other than wind.
Yeah, Gunpla isn't really even like knocked over by the wind or anything like that.
No, because it technically has real weight in this.
So, don't want to disappear. I don't want the GBN that we share to disappear.
Yeah.
And he's pleading and arguing, and please, Hiroto, Core Gundam, save the world, save GBM.
GBM?
Well, GBN.
Yeah. I had to fix a few of your typos too.
Actually, no, I just mispronounced it there.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you have the same problem I do. You get typing a little too fast, and you start getting little typos in there. There's a couple of them. Google's like, I don't even know what to do with this. Yeah.
And actually, I made a reference to that
last week. Yep. Maybe that's what he is referring to.
So
storms are happening.
Yeah, this world starts to crack and crumble around them. Hiroto doesn't smile, and Eve gives a sad smile. She reaches out, and the Core Gundam reacts, raising its beam rifle.
The crazy part is when the ground starts shattering like this, and the energy starts flowing out of it. Like, it's destabilizing reality around her, and it's nuts. Like, it cracks, all this lightning and blue flame shoots out of the ground. Once again, I got more screenshots than you did, but there's where she raises her hand, and all of a sudden the eyes light up.
It does that traditional Gundam startup thing. I don't think it made the usual noise.
If it did, you couldn't hear it.
But yeah,
kill the L-Divers, save the world. No,
kind of.
Is that a Final Fantasy VII reference? I won't die. I'll just return to the planet. Yeah, I guess that is kind of a Final Fantasy VII.
Digimon also had a thing where, like, the Digimon don't die; they just return to data and become Digi-Eggs again.
Oh, they do. Are they going Digimon now? Is that what they did? This is gonna go all the way back to her. They weren't called starters. What was their very first? Not the egg, but either way. It would be funny if L-Divers,
what they called it in America.
Yeah, if L-Divers had multiple forms. By the way, we have 33 people watching.
Woo!
What's going on, guys? Make sure you say hi in the chat if you're popping in. Okay, so we got eyes glowing on the Gundam.
Yeah.
And so then
shouts out like, "Don't, no choice. At least I want you to do it." And the two, it's like, you can't do that. And the two reach out.
Yeah.
They both kind of have pained expressions. The world's just continuing to shatter around them.
Personally, I like this is when the ground kind of erupts.
Yeah, it's energy like purple and white light, which is kind of interesting.
It's really crazy. Up to 35. We have a Digivolving SD Gundam. I mean, it's kind of true. She's one with the Allspark. That's the other thing. She's going, do not grieve, for soon I will be one with the Matrix.
She's
That's all she had to say. That's all she had to say, and we would have known. It would have been fine. I'll be back at least 3 times. The fourth coming of Prime.
It's one of the sure things about Optimus Prime in pretty much every universe except for one. He dies at least once.
Yeah. And I also got this great shot of him crying.
Yeah.
Also, tears are a thing that happen in GBN. Like, they gave you that extra reality. Remember how we were sort of talking about the things that they give you, like, you know, how it's not just you moving sticks. You know, you got to have real feeling. You got to have textile or, you know, function. But the fact they program tears into this is other GBN. This is still earlier days. This is not round 2, you know, version 73. I mean, he's so upset he even gets the heavy dark lines around his lips.
Right.
And his eyes disappear. Imagine if real human did what anime characters do when they get upset. Where you just get gray across here. Or the little or it starts turning blue and gray and you get some lines that just appear next to your head.
So the bugs and arrows are bursting from her heart. She says something to him, but we can't hear the words. Hero reacts with a pained expression. He grits his teeth, tears flowing. With his outstretched hand, closes in a fist, and we see sort of an ethereal version of Eve gently grasping his hand.
That's a weird shot.
Mm-hmm. It's sort of like I say it here. It's like she's trying to provide comfort, I guess.
Yeah, I get that, but like his position is what's weird because he's standing like it's a fist bump. I get that it's basically him gripping the stick ready to shoot, even though he's not even questioning the fact that he's remotely controlling the Gunpla, or that she is, or her sheer force of will is controlling the Gunpla. Even though they've already seen some crazy miracles through the battles. But this part, I'm just like, okay. But I assume this is her non-affected form. The part that will always be with him, sort of.
Or it's just like his memory of her.
Something.
So,
yeah, she might have said arigato, but she said multiple words, even if it was syllables.
Yeah.
I thought maybe she said I love you.
That was my thought. It would be that would be like a Daisuke something.
Yeah.
So
it's impossible to tell with an animated character because it's just lip flaps. You just got to hope that the gaps are right.
Stuff like that, they would probably do a better job. But with it being Japanese and none of us knowing how to read lips, let alone read lips in Japanese.
Well, I mean, it's one thing being able to read real human lips because you can see what the lips are doing, you can see what the cheeks are doing, you can see what the tongue is potentially doing. This is a animated mouth doing open close. Like this is really hard. She was waiting for a return fist bump and never got it back. That's why he's upset. Yeah.
Denied.
Eve says sayonara. I mean, maybe. But she's not really saying goodbye because she knows she's not exactly dying. So I don't know if she would say that.
She does thank him. And then the Core Gundam's beam rifle fires. Its aim is true as it goes straight through her heart. And for a moment, it looks like she's purified. It's like this scene right here. Oh my God.
By the way, this is in the thumbnail. Or at least it should be if it didn't make it to the final. I was trying to make this like most of the main thumbnail, and I'm like, I don't know if I can make it happen. It's just all that red. But I love the fact that she's still digitizing around her edges. And the next shot from this is, of course, the beam going through her heart from a more regular perspective. But like, they just go with this.
Yeah, it's like, and for a moment, it's like it almost looks like she's purified, and then she like sort of pulsates pink energy. You see, like this So like it's still.
You thought I wasn't gonna get this shot. Literally, in this one pulse, it pauses everything, and then everything is clear.
Yeah.
So when she said that it would clear the bugs along with herself, she meant it. So I was like, all they had to do was just compact all the bugs into a person and shoot them, and it would have been fine.
All you got to do is just create an artificial life form, put all the bugs in it, and then kill the artificial life form that you just gave life to.
I mean, it makes sense. By the way, this was also an alternate thumbnail that I never, that I couldn't make work. I actually had it with Hiroto hugging May, or vice versa, and I had the glowing Eve right over Hiroto's heart, which was also where May's hand was.
That would have been cool.
It didn't come out as well as I thought it would.
That's
why I went with the one I got.
That's always the way, isn't it?
Oh, that's true, Tesla. She did. She
Zavardo.
But hold on,
we laugh to make I don't know about you, but this entire episode really just it messed me up.
We have to joke about it or we'll cry. Damn it! That is funny. So somebody's gonna have to put that in the. Somebody's gonna have to meme that. Eve uses Zavardo.
That's your next.
Is she his stand?
Project.
Is she his stand? Standero. Either way, I forgot what happens after this. Stuff explodes. She goes away.
Hiroto, she pulls the scene. Hiroto stares at her, the full weight of what just happened collapsing on his shoulders. He hears her thanking him one last time. With this, GBN will be, I exist everywhere in this world. If you meet a child like me someday, please help them.
Yeah, see, I think so she mentioned her little sister before. Now she says, if you meet a child like me. This was also a potential thumbnail.
Yeah, that would have been a good one. It's like, even after this, I hope you'll remain a person who can do your best for others. They reach out to each other one last time, but it's too late.
He runs incredibly slowly at her. He did that hero slow-mo run where it's literally impossible to reach the person in time. It's like, well, if you started running a while back, you actually could have got to her.
To be fair, they were standing a good ways apart.
Yeah, but I mean, he's literally an inch away. If he had started running when the storm was done, he would have made it. He tried to walk against the storm, which was actually pretty impressive. He just couldn't do it.
So she disappears into bits of fading data, leaving only her earring and Hiroto's grief. And even that memento he crafted for her is denied as it too fades into nothing.
That was fucked up. Like, I was hoping that like, even though we know he doesn't have it in the future, I was thinking, okay, maybe he kept it and it's just locked away in his inventory box.
Yeah.
But no, it literally digitizes too. Like, well, you gave it to her. It's part of her data now.
Yeah,
he's like, damn it.
Gone.
Damn it, my 40 platinum.
And that the universe just punching him in the feels.
Oh, hold on. This is good. Oh, Eve was DIVERS. That's true.
I almost used that term actually when I was writing my notes.
Yeah. Hold on. There's comments. I gotta go back here.
Okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, Eve's Bizarre Adventure. Eve's. Gundam 00 Season 2, Episode 20. Anu dies. ReRISE Episode 10. Eve dies. Technically, it's Episode 20, not Episode 10. There you go. He fixed it. They also refer to Alice, not Sarah or Eve. I don't know what he means. Alice is not a child like her. Alice already exists. Eve used self-destruct. Kind of. She didn't self-destruct herself, sort of. She used self-sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Gundam 00 Season, either way, Episode 20. Anu dies. ReRISE, she dies. And it plays Trust You Plays. I guess that's the name of the song that's playing when she's going away. I guess it's the same song, is what he's referring to.
There wasn't anything other than the background music playing in this episode.
Maybe it's the same song. I don't know. William Endo. I can't wait for a decade from now for some kid to do a deep dive into these series like a big brain philosophy dive. You'll say that this shaped his childhood, and I'll just laugh and laugh. Like, I'm already doing the deep philosophy dive.
Yeah.
It's fine. Hiroto might talk Najutsu Alice and make him good. No, Alice is going to have to be shot and then fixed, or the Divers will have to come back and stop him because they are his creators and are the only ones who can stop him. I don't think it's not going to be
a lot with the power of friendship, but it doesn't really use the power of friendship to win a battle per se.
Yeah,
other than maybe providing a power up.
I mean, power of friendship was a thing in first Divers because of the situation, but also having Sarah there made the difference. Even though in the end, the final battle, the Double O Sky powered up without Eve or without Sarah, just the feelings, so to speak. But now we're in Eldora. If you still can do the same thing here by using emotional breakthrough equals badass, why don't I have that on a shirt? That needs to be a shirt. But yeah, that's right. Earring is the same color as May's outfit. Everything is green. It doesn't matter. F's in the chat. Oh, somebody press F to pay respects. That needs to be the meme. Just the scene and then press F over Hiroto. All right, Hurricane just revealed his gun. Ever use Eve traumatized. It's terrible. Trust You is a super sad song from Double O. No, I know the song. I assume that's the same song we played when other people died. Either way. Oh, that song. Yeah. Okay, so he's just talking about that one. That was actually one of the outro songs for Double O. Big end plot twist. Ancients come back and just don't give a damn about their fur babies. That would still be like Stargate.
So there's basically a 50-50 chance that could be the case.
Yeah. Okay, so that disappears, and then we go to the...
Yeah, Hiroto's left alone in the field.
37.
Next scene is daytime. Hiroto's still alone. He looks up to the sky and sees a bird, which looks a lot like Miss Tori. It's
right
really
color.
Hard to see. It's the right color.
It's the right color and has twin tails.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see in this scene, at least on my tiny ass phone.
I didn't get a good shot of it. It was only on screen for a very short time, but it's the first bird. Yeah, but like there's a couple shots of it where you can sort of see it. It does look like Miss Tori, but that would also, if it concluded that Miss Tori had two tails, and I can't recall if she did.
I'm pretty sure she did.
Because I think that's one reason why people thought that other bird on Eldora was Miss Tori, but it was the wrong flavor bird in general. So I mean, it's possible because if she was investigating major glitches and what just happened there was
like
a ridiculous glitch,
shattering glitch that was there's probably a server somewhere in GBN's headquarters that's like partially melted into the ground.
Well, if you remember in the first series, they were monitoring where all the glitches were happening, and that's how they coincided with the divers were going places, and that's when they eventually figured out it had to do with Sarah, so to speak.
Right.
So if that same system went, hey, here's a gigantic break happening in a completely unrelated, private server or whatever room, presumably she would go see. Or if she had knowledge that, oh, hey, there was an L diver here, what happened?
Yeah.
I assume that something along those lines happened. But because we're not seeing anything from the point of view of anybody other than our characters, we don't know.
Which it makes the story certainly more interesting and more compelling that we don't know stuff just yet, and makes us want to keep diving into it to figure out more.
William Endo says, or it's just a bird. Yeah, but we haven't seen any birds or anything in this world so far. Like, there's no reason to have birds in this world. And it just happens to be the same color, same type of bird as Miss Tori. I don't think that's not a coincidence this time.
Anyway, so from there, he looks down, sees the flower that I'm assuming it's like the flowers he once protected.
It's the same dandelions.
Yeah. Probably the exact same artwork, just reused to save time because, the world ended for a little while they were trying to produce this episode.
They did do that a couple times. There was a couple reuses of artwork. Not that it was terrible, but, like the later on, the Raven launching the sniper rifle was the exact same shot.
Of course, it's anime. That they practically invented the concept of trying to streamline animation as much as freaking possible to make it easy and cheaper.
Aside from furries, there haven't been any other animals in either world. Yes, there have, Jerry. We talked about this. We saw like a donkey type creature on Eldora. We've seen a bird. birds do take extra processing power. I mean, do you know how hard it is to keep the millions of robot pigeons in New York going every day? You know, China invented a robot bird drone that looks and flies like a real bird, but it's a drone.
There's a TikTok,
I'm just saying birds are not real.
There's a TikTok thing I follow where the entire joke behind it is that birds aren't real, and so she works at like a bird sanctuary or something like that, and she often talks about the different birds and says like this model has such and such features on it.
Yeah, that's funny. And it said there were swans in this episode, I guess. Do you remember seeing swans? Not in his world. There's not.
The first Gundam reference.
I would think if there's swans, they would have been in Champions World.
Maybe I could see, as particularly. Well, I mean, his Gundam's based off of age, but if he's the champion, he probably would have some first Gundam reference stuff around him. Anyway, so his thoughts are broken by emergency broadcasts. The champion is reporting on the L-Diver threat as well as the capture of one.
Hold on.
And now it's that they're reforming the coalition of volunteers and the capture of Sarah, which I'm a little bit confused about the order of events there, because why do they need the coalition? I'm trying to remember why they need the coalition if they already had her in possession.
Because they needed everyone to come together to defend their right to delete her. Who is texting me right now?
Not me. My phone is here.
It's 9:00 fucking clock. That's Sam. Anyways,
so here,
yes, they use the same clips.
Yeah, and they're probably using the exact same artwork for that. Yeah.
Which, it's the same.
Why redo it if you have it already?
Dude, all the stuff later, all the stuff from the battle that we see of the original Divers, all of that is the same footage. Riku, all that's all the same footage.
I think we see some stuff that is new, and we'll get to that in just a little bit.
There is new stuff, but I mean, like in that battle stuff where we see that, because I just went back to rewatch that's exactly the same footage.
Yeah, so Hiroto immediately recognized her as the little sister that Eve spoke of, and then we have commercial break.
Well, I mean, he found out what she is. They literally just described what Sarah is and went, oh. It's like, but also he's been absent for a little bit while this was going on, so he wouldn't know that they captured the L-Diver prior to this. And also, if you recall in that episode, that's where they were sending guard frames everywhere, and they actually had them pinned down and identified her. That's
right.
Yep. I did go back and rewatch a bunch of stuff while I was looking for things.
I did not.
Yeah. I miss Rommel.
He was a fun character. It's kind of weird that, of course, we've commented several times. It's weird that we haven't seen hardly any of the previous cast. I think McGee's the only one that shows up with any level of regularity,
and not in GBN.
Well, no, we've seen them like once or twice in GBN.
No, I'm saying but Maggie is only outside. Never in GBN.
No, it's the first season of ReRISE. We made this into a bar in there.
No. That was Maggie's actual bar.
Okay, well...
Not the virtual one. That was Maggie's real bar. They have not shown Maggie in GBN in this secondary season. At all.
Anyway, so... we come back to the castle base of Team Avalon. I can't remember if they had a special name for it or something.
I assume that it's Camelot.
I wouldn't be surprised. Or they just flat out call it Avalon or something. Hiroto's talking to another member. This is the guy that pilots the Impulse Lance, isn't it?
Or
is
Arc,
it the
I don't remember. It's either Arc Impulse or Lance Impulse.
I couldn't remember his name, and it took a little while before I realized, oh, it's that guy too. I just thought he was, generic Avalon team member number 5 for a while.
See, I like the idea that he's talking to Hiroto about what happened, but he also recognizes that something's going on with Hiroto. Like, Team Avalon is a massive force.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of members. I mean, maybe not everyone's on like champion uniform level. They're probably just the like beginners, the noobs who are just on the outside who get to, fly the flag, so to speak. So Hiroto's in there, but maybe it was when it was still kind of smallish. But I mean, we know the battle was really big because they had the coalition, like people joined their side, So Hiroto's actually part of Team Avalon, so there's that. But maybe it's smaller than we thought.
But yeah, and one of the neat things with this is like he's talking to me. He's like, "Are you okay, man?" He seemed distracted, and overall, these interactions we see with them show that Team Avalon was never the bad guy. They were just trying to do what they thought was right.
Yeah, I mean, the whole discussion was one side's literally trying to protect GBN, the other side's trying to protect a new life form.
You okay there?
That was a burp.
So, yeah, Hiroto deflects his questions, and that's when we hear Riku shouting out to Sarah. And so this is neat because in the previous season, we saw this scene from their perspective, but now we just see him as this little speck off on the ground level as they're kind of looking down. It's like, what is that guy doing? Should we throw a rock at him or something?
Yeah. And then actually I had that shot where you could see him and Yuki. Mm-hmm. And then I accidentally saved over it and I was just like, it's not worth going back for. Yeah, but this was actually
you can barely see them.
But this was where he's explaining to him, he's members from the Build Diver team where they were friends with the L Diver. And the whole time they're just like, yeah, this is what's going on. And then Riku's just screaming his head off for Sarah so that she knows that they're coming for her. So they didn't want her to feel alone and be sad. Mm. So he was literally allowed to walk all the way up to their castle and shout from outside.
Go up, hold up the big boom box, start playing music.
Yes, but what song?
Also, it makes me think of Monty Python. One of them should have leaned over. It's like, "Go away, I shall taunt you a second time."
Your father was a hamster.
And your mother smelled of elderberries.
Oh, wait, your father
That's
smelled.
That's on Netflix, guys. Check it out if you haven't.
No, that was your father smelled of elderberries.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a beer that actually was called that. Imagine talking to your bro and you hear this kid just screaming outside. Jerry says in episode 5, Maggie was in a digital bar.
Told you.
I don't remember that.
It's when Eve was delivering reports to him. It was before we realized what she was. So I was just sort of interpreting her as like she was like some sort of special operative for the admin or something.
Oh, because Eve was sitting at the bar. Not Eve. May was sitting at the bar.
Yeah. Or leaning against it or something like that. But yeah, she was the same size as him.
I have to go back and rewatch that. Yeah, that's before, of course, we knew she was an L diver. Mm-hmm. I was thinking we never saw Maggie in GBN. It's just like every other time we've seen it, it's been in reality.
So yeah, the other member explains who he is, and then starts saying, like, look, there's going to be a big battle coming up with all this. It's not compulsory, though. You don't have to join in. Basically saying, like, dude, your head's not in the game. Something's wrong. Go figure things out. Take a break. It's not a big deal. We got this.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, he did look up at Sarah.
Yeah, he looked up at Sarah, and we see them walking away, and she still has the pet floating next to her. Which again points to this can't be Eve because the timelines don't line up.
She already exists.
Timey-wimey stuff, which so far we haven't had reason to think timey-wimey.
Well, I went back to see roughly when it happened, and she bought Molly after they won the Lotus Challenge, when they got their base and everything. So that was when he wasn't. I don't even think Hiroto was part of Team Avalon yet. So it didn't. It's not related. It would have been funny because it even has the twin ears. It looked like her hair.
Yeah, it's a hell of a coincidence.
There's a lot of red herrings in this show. We'll just say that.
Yeah. So we cut to the start of the battle.
Well, this is the scene you were talking about where he said, "Look, man, just go home. You don't have to be a part of this." And I got this nice shot in the hallway.
Twice, that last scene, and then in this one when they're walking, they are both now sporting the special services or whatever it's called.
Yeah, special forces color. Basically, they only changed it for the final battle, and then changed it right back. It's their winter outfit.
Yeah, and so
this is where they get the call that. Well, that's where they get the call that they're under attack, basically.
Mm-hmm. So continues to show as Hiroto is walking away, he gets the call for backup. Outside, we see a Targos and a Zaku 3 in Char's color, oddly enough, firing weapons. How this happens, considering Targos doesn't have a Gunpla kit?
It is okay. What is Targos from?
Wing.
I thought it looked like a Leo tank, basically.
Yeah, the Leo is like Oz MS-06. I think Targos is like Oz MS-05 or something like that.
So basically a Jim to a gun tank.
More like a Zaku 1 to a Zaku 2.
Well, I'm talking about, is it kneeling or is it a tank?
It has there's two versions of it. There's a mobile suit version, and then there's the hover version. That's the hover version.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This looks like a hover thing. However, I wanted to bring something up about this particular scene, but after we look at the next two things that are fighting.
Okay, so yes, you probably made the same observation I did, though I didn't write it down. So they're firing weapons, and they seem to be fighting a Daughters and a Windham, but get finished off by Riku in the Earth 3 Gundam.
Well, yeah. And well, no, the Earth 3 comes in to blow up the other two because they were pinned down. But then those two get blown up by flak from a different battle.
Sorry, say that again?
So these two
were
pinning down
we see the Daughters and the Windham because those two are.
Well, what I was saying is the Daughters and the Windham were basically pinned down, and then the Earth 3 came in, blew them up, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Hiroto, thanks." And he's like, "Who are you guys? Like, how do you even know who I am?" But then right after this, due to a different attack, these guys get blown up. Not even directed at them. It was just backfire. But of course, the observation would be, I mean, you could potentially borrow some of these designs and make some one-eyes, such as a hover tank.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course,
not to mention the Daughters and the Windham are specifically one-eye units.
Also,
they get remade into one-eyes.
Yeah, but also in stores now. So they just showed off that the Windham P Bandai kit, the normal, not Windham,
Daughters,
normal Daughters kit is coming. Of course, it's P Bandai too, which is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's like the one-eye Daughters is P Bandai, and the normal Daughters is P Bandai. Also, this is a different form of the Windham, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a custom job or if it represents a specific version of it.
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of special version because it looks different. Gatling gun is from the Free Parts campaign. Yep, that's true because I had that exact Gatling gun. Either that or it's just the big Gatling gun because they had that.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the big Gatling gun, but I didn't look up to compare.
Notice how the Avalon members in that scene are the ones Alice copied. In theory, because I mean once again,
Alice was looking at things around this time frame.
Yeah, of course. But if you look at some of the heavier one-eyes, we already know we got hover tanks. So if you fuse both of these things with a little bit of Death Army, you're kind of getting there after we get some of those heavier bruiser types. So I mean. It seems like he was. We know he watched this battle at least retroactively, but it means he had access. You know. Wyndham has the colors of the Slaughter Dagger from Stargazer. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Gundam X doesn't get any love. Gunpla is freedom unless it's P Bandai. Hey, you can still buy P Bandai. Just sign up for P Bandai and make sure you get the pre-order on time, unless you're stupid like me and wait a little bit too long. And then you have to pay the.
Never did get the Shoku or the Death Side Rosette.
They're around. Dude, we were at 39. We did not crest 40. We're back to 38. Either way, things happen.
Yep.
His weapon gets destroyed. The other two get destroyed. And you have to auto summon the sniper rifle to himself, which is why he had the sniper rifle in the Earth 3 at this point.
And he gets in position, and he receives a message that they are not to assist the captain.
Nope. Let the captain.
And so he just sort of stays in that area watching. Yeah. And like they specifically say, it's like, do not assist the captain. If you get close, you will get blown up.
Yeah, basically.
He just saw. Having a Dragon Ball Z level fight. They're having a Dragon Ball Z level fight right now. You guys are all Krillin and Yamcha. Just stay.
That's beyond the Dragon Ball Z level fight, man. That's ridiculous. I forgot how ridiculous that 2-on-1 battle was. Let them fight. Yes.
Let them fight. So they set up, watching from afar, wondering what they're doing. He then hears Riku and them talking over the open comm, which is funny because you've made jokes about that, like, repeatedly.
Well, I find it interesting.
How do you hear everything they're saying?
Well, this was deliberate. The champion opened the channel for everyone to hear. So it was a conversation that was only happening between Riku, champion, and Ogre. This popped up. Hiroto didn't do it. So the champion on his end opened comm so everyone could hear this conversation. Because we know he was on Riku's side, but couldn't actively do anything. He couldn't stand down, and he couldn't say no to the game master. So he had to go in there and fight also to make Riku strong enough to prove that he could do the thing. If you just let him walk by, he would never felt accomplished. So to make sure that everyone hears what's going on, because everyone needs to hear this message, that's what happens. Right.
So we hear Riku talking about loving Gunpla and Gunpla battle.
I love Gunpla.
I love GBA. That lets everyone connect to so many people. And these words, no doubt, sort of echo the feelings that Eve was telling him not too long before. And we see flashes of the previous cast, and then to Sarah, who's being looked after by the game master, looking kind of like a creeper, if you ask me.
Well, he's basically letting her watch her own demise. Your friends are here. They're here to rescue you. We're not going to let them do that. But remember, he's asking her questions. He was a dick. But like, after hearing all these things and actually getting to know her, because remember, he questioned her after the champion did. And like, even though she basically acted as a human with rational thoughts and emotions, hey, we're at 42 all of a sudden. Which I think which is a new record, I believe.
Did he almost erase her too, like early or something?
He thought about doing it but I think he went, no, I can't do it just because. Well, I think to him, it was like his livelihood, his job was on the line if GBN was destroyed because of her, and he let it happen. But the champion said, no, you're going to let me gamble on this, because if they have the fortitude to come in here and beat us down and take her back by force, they deserve the chance to save her. Hey, baby. Going to bed? All right, love you. But that was the whole point of that coalition battle, and the champion knew it. If they have the ball to actually try, we should let them. But if they can't beat us, well, then it's over. This was the agreement.
Yeah. So we cut back to
it was a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, so we cut back to the battle. We're hearing Riku say, it's like, if our love gave Sarah life, then we can't erase Sarah with our own hands, because we don't want to deny what love means to us. That's why we won't give up what we love. And those words have to cut on Hiroto, I think, because it's like it's questioning his love for her or reminding him that despite his love for her, he couldn't save her. So that grandpa can't love you back.
Hey Ben, why don't you go take out the trash? The simp hand is strong. Oh, go to hell. But no, I mean, he's right, because once they found out the truth that it was their love of GBN and Gunpla that basically gave birth to a whole brand new life form,
right?
You couldn't literally kill it with the thing that you birthed it from. It's like they had a very good point. It's like, yeah, it's really fucked up. It's like, and if everyone knows the truth, nobody would come back to GBN, even if it was safe. You'd have the people who just don't give a shit. But this whole battle proved that a lot of people gave a shit on both sides. Yeah. It's basically a Gunpla civil war. You know,
pretty much, right? We see the climactic
electronic life.
Sorry, what was that?
Hold on.
Holding. I was proactive today. I took out the trash before the stream. Good for you.
GBN admins, but instead of fixing the problem right here and now, we're going to let a grown man beat up a 12-year-old? Yeah, but electronically.
It's like, you're not wrong.
Have you seen Pokemon? Way worse things happen to kids in Pokemon.
So we see the climactic finish between the battle, between all of them.
It explodes.
Yep, everything explodes.
Power, friendship, and love.
Hiroto gets in position. He aims, target's locked. Here's the cries of everybody going, saying like, the champion's been defeated. What do we do? What do we do? And he's sitting in the cockpit shaking. The target's still locked. And all he has to do is pull the trigger, and he could end this all.
Pull the trigger, you bitch.
Yeah, he's
do it.
It's like,
fucking do it.
He's like, why?
No.
Why? Flashes to Eve. He's like, I will. His mind flashes back to her smiling face. Have you? His entire friendship with her from beginning to end flashes. Like, I'm going to. And then he hears Eve's last words. Even after this, I hope you'll remain a person who can do your best for others. And his eyes open wide. He pulls the trigger. The blast coming out. And it goes into the ground. At the last moment, he apparently changed his aim.
Aimed it down. Now the head is still pointed upward. If you actually look, if you look at the shot, the head is still looking up, but he aimed the gun down, and it did a ton of damage. You kind of really underestimate how powerful this rifle is in high output mode.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to point something out here. If you're paying attention, he was in berserk mode. His eyes went big.
Yeah.
And everything. So for him, this was just about the battle. He turned his emotions and thoughts off. And then in targeting him and then having the flashback, that brought him back. But then
he addresses this later on in the episode too, now that I think about it. Because I remember one of the lines.
Yeah. So, but the thing about it is the way he was saying it was like jealousy. I lost mine, you should lose yours. It's basically where he was going.
Yeah, because by this point, Eve should be inside the 00 sky, right? Or not Eve, Sarah should be inside the 00 sky because Rico's already rescued her.
This is where he's beaten the champion and he's going to the castle in what's left of the 00 sky. This is only moments before it disappears and then he falls by himself to the castle, because they show that in the previous scene. So like, actually, if he had fired at the right moment, he would have just shot Riku only, not the 00 sky. But no, this idea is like, for a second, he is so angry that his Diver, the girl he loved and would give up everything for and love GBN because of, and actually learned to love GBN because of, was gone, and he basically had to kill her. It was a jealousy thing. Not just doing his duty, because he's got no real allegiance to them. You know, he's just there because
Avalon because Eve said you should join a force. and probably
Yeah.
he'd probably like post it to a board, say it's like, hey, looking for force, who's interested? And
Yeah.
the champion took a look at his stats and was like, oh, I want you.
Yeah. So basically he saw it as a chance, you know, like a lot of people are saying in the thing, is like, look, it's a form of grief, but where you don't want anyone else to have the happiness you were denied.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's so fresh on his mind. Like in theory, it was maybe a couple days ago.
Yeah,
Not saying
and
it's the same day or like maybe it was a week ago. We don't know, but it was close to the same amount, you know.
and like I said, Riku is spouting off this stuff that jives with everything that he has been listening to and stuff like that, but he couldn't act on it. He couldn't save her. And yeah.
But this is why I think it was why this scene was so important, is why he put the gun down and wouldn't pick it up again. Because at that moment, the last time he picked up his gun was when he thought that someone else didn't deserve the happiness that he had.
And that explains also why it's like, because not only did he stop using that thing, and we had mentioned
Locked
this
it
when
away.
we looked at the episode, he put it in its Tupperware thing and like wrapped it up in duct tape, and we don't see where it was in the shelf, but it's probably like tucked away in the back, sideways or something like that, so that way he would never even have
season 1. We have to go back to season 1 where he opens the cupboard and you could see all the tubs and see which one has the tape on it. But yeah, basically it's that idea that he went into berserk mode because he's in the middle of a battle. We already know he does that. He just loses it and he goes berserk. And he was ready to do that until he thought, you know, and then just the thoughts and the memories of her made him blow up the ground instead.
Yeah, so we see Hiroto's left panting in the cockpit, and so he like clutches at his mouth, and I'm pretty sure basically he just threw up.
Yeah,
which that's got to be. I'm betting that's an actual physical response that he had in real life too.
Yeah,
which GBN.
Why does GBN have a vomit option? Why? Makes no sense. And then he drops the rifle. He drops to his knees with his Gundam.
And it splatters up mud and just soils the entire thing, as if like he basically showing like how he kind of feels like he just tarnished everything that
it's raining shit on him is what's happening.
Yeah. Everything that he and Eve built up has been soiled now.
Yeah. Well, see, somebody wrote something very something symbolic about the idea of the throwing up and then being covered in mud, something like that. I'm like, no, it's just because he just shot the ground and all the mud and dirt and shit flew into the air from being shot. Like this is literally all the ground that he sent flying, because you could see it like from this shot.
I mean, it's still symbolic of
what's symbolic, but
what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying like this shot, you could see the stuff in the air. And then two shots later, it's falling down on him. So, I mean, yeah, it's symbolic. You're right. But there's an actual realistic physical response to why it's happening. But the idea that, you know, this is I will Gumpla no longer, or I will snipe no
Spider-Man
longer.
No more.
I'm Spider-Man no more. But the idea that he didn't ditch the Earth armor, he only ditched the U-Raven. It's like it seems like he would have locked the Earth armor away because that was the one that was their beginning point. That was the one they were generally always in, so to speak. The fact that he wasn't using something other than the core Gundam all this time is weird. It's just that weapon is the one he has the problem with.
It's probably because there is such a stronger connection to the Earth 3 armor. That's why he probably can't bring himself to lock it away.
Yeah.
And we do see later on that part of him is still looking around to see if he can find.
He says that she will be everywhere, so he's literally looking everywhere. But that's a good point.
Yeah, pulling the triggers was exactly. And spoiler, he even says something to that effect later on in the episode.
Yeah. But then, of course, because our fans are our fans.
Oh,
There's the dirt. He just had to destroy himself to find
everywhere.
it. Is that what it is? You have to destroy yourself to find the dirt? Maybe the dirt returned to the sea of data.
I also like how
oh, hey, there's a good point. Hold on. Yeah, why didn't he lock away his beam spray gun? He still uses that every time.
The answer is shut up. Don't ask questions. No.
That's my line. Shut up. That's why. You got to do the longer sh. You got to do the shut up. That's why. 43. Yay. High numbers.
I also like how in the scene, we're basically, it's implying that he threw up, and we get the splatter sound of the dirt landing on the
yeah.
That was some nice. They nail it home.
I sort of got it. Well, is it the timing of the dirt falling on him, or is it that there is like digital vomit hitting the floor of his Gunpla? Because it's timed exactly when it would have hit the floor.
I know. And
so was there real digivomit?
Yeah.
Hiroto digivomits too.
Yeah.
Eldora. That's what happens. It cuts to the end.
Yeah, so we hear the battle has ended. Particles of green light drift from the sky. Now we are back at the present. May is standing in front of Hiroto with the others behind him.
And he
says why what's that?
It only took us 2 months to get to that story. Jesus, Hiroto. Couldn't tell this faster.
It's like, why couldn't I save her that time? What I tried to do, I couldn't save her. I even didn't try to fulfill it. I didn't keep my promise, and he's starting to cry.
Dude, I give all the credit in the world to voice actors who can put that much emotion.
Yes.
Like to me, like American voice actors can't do the same, most of them anyways. Like they have a hard time forcing fake emotions. There's those ones who can push it, but you don't hear the same anguish. At least in like maybe in actual American shows, but not dubs. Like to me, like this English scene is not going to carry the same weight with an American voice actor. To me, I think it's not going to sound like he's really crying. It's going to sound like American trying to sound anguished. Probably Johnny Young Bosch, if I had to guess. I don't know who voices Hiroto, but it just would make sense to me.
The previous dubs for the build stuff hasn't been done by an American studio. It's been done by one that does
that's stuff right.
Primarily, like, so they don't use the usual staple. Otherwise, yeah, Johnny Young Bosch would be in there somewhere.
He would be a perfect Hiroto, I think.
Yeah, I mean, but they already dubbed the first season.
I'm just saying. Redub it.
Well, Johnny Young Bosch can read the freaking phone book and make it sound awesome.
That's not true. Hold on. American voice actors can, it's just dub directors don't pull it out. No, that's what I'm getting at. That's why I said American voice actors doing an American show can pull that off. 44. But when they're doing a dub, everything sounds unemotional to get as much as they can get out of it, but it's just not as good. Yeah, matching lip flaps is important. I understand that. But what's funny is in the digital age, they could almost redo just the lip flaps.
They can, but
I mean,
some of the fan dub, some of the like Team 4-Star and
yes, what I'm saying. Team 4-Star does it.
They explain though that it's not hard. They do it, but it's not practical for a full-time studio because it takes so much time and work.
Yeah, well, that's what Tesla just said. You can't look at the abridged series. Yeah. So what we need is build Divers abridged. It won't happen. They're not doing any more abridged series, as far as I know.
Well, other people are doing abridged series, but I would love to see build Divers abridged. That would be hilarious.
But then you get,
particularly if it was done by the same people by Something Witty, the people who do SAO abridged. That'd be awesome. Maybe that's
Have you
just
heard
because I
how
want to
soft
hear the
Giant
voice
Bosch
of
is?
Hiroto do the voice of Hiroto.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that he would be a good match at all. Hiroto doesn't have the same sort of whiny cadence, but
No, I'm just thinking if Team Four Star did it, who would play who? Because I think Lanny would have to be Kazumi.
who does the
Lan-
voice of Trunks?
Oh, that's shit. Is that Neko? I think is that
But
Kaiser Neko?
I don't
It might
remember
be
their
Kaiser
names.
Neko.
But
We
the
should have
voice of
Bridget.
Trunks as the voice of Hiroto would be what's that?
You said we should have Bridget. No.
We don't have
I don't need
that.
those lawsuits on my life. Thank you. It's like there's a reason why
You've got
episode
enough trouble
60.
as
Yeah.
you get enough trouble with some of these things.
Well, surprisingly, because of what we're doing here, this isn't a problem because it's not showing any video and there's no audio. Screen caps don't hurt.
Okay.
It was that 15 seconds of footage that I showed in that one thing. But they did release a copyright, so that's fine. It's like literally, look at the thing. It's a review. Either way, Hiroto's crying.
Yeah, so she was so important to me. She was so special
Killed
to
her.
me. I basically, it's like I even forgot her final wish, driven by such wild emotion. So that's that
Berserk
berserker
mode.
we were talking about.
Yeah.
I even tried to erase her. I'm the worst. And he clutches at his face, trying to force back the tears.
Yeah.
Trampled on people's feelings and wishes. No way someone like me could ever help anyone. And I'm guessing like the trampling on people's feelings and wishes, that's referring to how he was willing to not only, destroy Riku, but basically participate in the destruction of Sarah, who is made of people's feelings and wishes, basically.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But I think in some ways he is talking about his team as well. Because even though he is a great planner, he's not a teammate and he generally disregards what a lot of people want or do to do his own thing because he thinks he knows better and doesn't really give a shit. And even upon realizing that these people are real is only really when it started to change. Now, part of it was still in there when he protected the farm and made sure nothing got hurt then, but like he's definitely hurt some people's feelings up until now.
And I think with Hiroto, it's not so much that he doesn't give a shit, it's that he has stopped giving a shit.
Yeah.
Which it sounds the same, but I think there's a distinction to be made there. Basically,
Yeah.
like he could give a shit, but he doesn't anymore. He doesn't connect to people. He doesn't
want to open up
to GBN.
Yeah, he doesn't want to open up. He doesn't want to show who he is because the last time he did, he had to kill that person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to get close to you. Bad things happen to people who get close to me.
How bad? Well, I kind of killed my girlfriend.
He's kind of the Hulk. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Hero. Oh, that's right. You got to think about that. He also sacrificed teammates back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't give a shit about anybody else, even if he had to use their corpses to get where he needed to go. He was willing. A couple in the episode that led up to this, he risked people's lives to get the shot. So yeah, he would definitely be
kind of the right choice to make, but yeah.
Yeah, using people as bait. Yep. In real GBN, whoop-de-doo. They might lose some coin, but now that you know that they're real people, you would risk someone's lives to take down Alice. Yeah, he went berserk mode that whole last episode, especially once Alice started getting the upper hand and then showed him the picture of him sniping.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, how about that emotional wound you have?
Oh. And specifically, he shows the scene where he's kneeling down.
You take the shot? Yeah, he literally said, you should have taken a shot, dumbass.
And it's like when he was feeling the absolute fucking worst. Now, the scene we've seen where he goes back to his apartment in the rain, clutching the core Gundam. Do you think that is after she died or after the Battle of the Coalition, the second Battle of the Coalition?
I think that was post-coalition battle.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know, because that could be.
I think that he's holding specifically just the core Gundam, no armor.
Yeah, it's only the core Gundam.
And that it was only the core Gundam when he deleted Eve. So that might have been.
Maybe that was when she was deleted. Yeah, that would make the most amount of sense.
We need somebody to just recut all these flashback stuff into correct chronological order so we can see it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Get on that, Shoki.
No. Jerry's like, he got banned for puking in the game area. I don't know if he would have actually puked.
I think he did. If he had that reaction.
I mean, maybe, but also the fact that it's a full dive, and generally speaking, if you were to pee in the game, you wouldn't pee in real life. When you drink in the game, you're not ingesting anything. But to have an emotional reaction that's associated to throwing up, yeah, maybe when he got out, he was nauseous. But I don't think he puked when he puked. I think it was entirely just in GBN. I'm sure he had massive emotional upheaval, but I don't think he actually vomited in the thing. You know, plus he's like their only patron, so I doubt they would have kicked him out. I think we've well established he's the only one who dives at the tea cafe. No fucking sense.
Okay. And also I made a note here. It's like I'm just now realizing that Riku's suits were all kind of named around the sky, while Hiroto's stuff is all named around the ground. But either it's the Earth or the planet, other planets and stuff like that. So it's a weird observation I noticed.
But the planets are all in the sky.
Fine, you take over.
It's not my fault you had a dumb idea.
Anyway, so I had written down stuff that we already talked about. The others watch on, not sure what to do, and then are shocked to see May walk up, kneel down, and kisses tears. Everyone, including Hiroto, is stunned by this display.
Are you sure she was kissing them, not sucking them out of his eyes? Because that's kind of what it looked like. Just like I understand what she was doing, was kissing his eye, more or less. But it looked like she was trying to suck the tear out of his eyeball. I'm like, okay, this went from kind of sweet to slightly creepy. Now maybe that was entirely in my head, but I was just like, whoa, what are you doing?
So everyone,
but yeah, everybody's
stunned by this display. She embraces him, telling him to not hold back.
Well, hold on, before you move on. This is important due to a conversation that happened a few episodes ago.
Okay.
Remember when they were talking about how close May and Hiroto seem to have become and how alike they are? You know, how Par and Kazumi were like that? That's why they reacted the way they did, because they're thinking, here we go, there it is. They're actually having a thing.
The ship has sailed!
Yay! We shipped them and it happened. No, she's just acting sweetly. Which is weird. She's so robotic. It's weird that she did this. Like, she had a somewhat emotional reaction to someone else's emotions. And as somebody who's extremely robotic, as she's going to explain, it was just weird. Not necessarily out of nowhere, but it was weird.
Yeah. So she tells him, like, not to hold back. If you want to cry, you should cry as much as you like. And with that permission, he just breaks down, sort of letting out all these tears and frustration that he must have been holding back for so long. And this is
do you think he
a
threw
cool
up?
thing because what's that?
So do you think he threw up?
No.
Okay,
cool. Because the idea that it's okay to cry and feel is an important message that I don't think gets expressed very often. More often than not, we're told, you know, you got to be strong and stoic and stuff like that. And that kind of bad, it can be very damaging.
Yeah.
Still don't know what ship I should root for, May or the childhood friend. Why not both? Don't
So
be shy.
so Hirome or Hineto? Which ship?
Hinato sounds better.
No, it's Meirito. It's Meirito and Hinato. Who wins? We already know he likes his e-girls. And he knows where to find her in real life.
Technically, he knows to where. Technically, I think he knows where May lives in real life too, doesn't he?
I meant May. You can have his pocket girlfriend.
No.
She looks cute in that dress.
She does.
And her cute little holographic face can do the pouty thing that everybody thought was cute as hell. We just need to equip it to a mannequin. Like everybody keeps suggesting. It's like, why don't they make full-size ones?
Because that would be a lot of plastic.
Let's think about the oddness of this. When you're diving, you're already basically sitting there asleep.
Mm-hmm.
For an L diver, they're basically standing there asleep or sitting wherever they depend on where they log in, how they log in. Make a life-size version of one of these female L divers. Yeah, that's not going to get weird.
I'm not even going to touch that.
Hey, look, emotional trauma.
So we go from sunset to night. Hiroto apologizes to Freddy, telling them that they are not the real Bill divers. I'm just a worthless person who shouldn't dare team up with friends and pass ourselves off as Bill divers.
So Carlos is hating on Hinata now. He hates Alice. He hates Hinata. He says she's done nothing. It's like she's basically like his best friend. She's got the best friend role.
She's been doing everything she can to support him emotionally when he's been pushing her and everyone else away.
Yeah, they were really close before. Like childhood friends.
That's the whole point. And that's also why she's trying so hard and really not getting very far, is because he keeps pushing her away. Yeah.
Oh yeah, also I didn't think about the fact that he's got essentially real May on Eldora. So, if they really wanted to make sand babies.
No, bad.
I'm not going to bring up a video that YMH watched the other day, but if you watch Your Mom's House, just think about sand. You know what I'm talking about. Please don't say it in the comments. Moving on.
Freddy shouts out that it doesn't matter to him. They are the real Bill divers.
Oh, by the way,
that's not just. Yeah. Then we got sort of a Michael Bay style time jumping here.
Not really. I mean, it was already sunset. I mean, the sun was already set after the battle, so.
He says that it's not just him, and he starts naming off basically like every named puppy person there, ending with Jed.
Oh, did he say Jed?
Yes.
I remember hearing Maya. I didn't remember hearing him saying Jed.
At the very end, he was like, "And Jed Oni-san."
Yeah. See, Freddy's feelings alone should make a difference for the Gunpla on Eldora. He gets so hyped and like energetic.
Yeah. Maybe that's part of why they are doing so good.
Oh God. Carlos is like, Hinata has done nothing. Hiroto's mom could have dealt with the emotional support. Hiroto's mom busy. Like, she has no clue what's going on in his life. Hinata's trying to find out what's going on in his life. She's actually actively trying to support him. His mom doesn't know a fucking thing what's going on. I'm not going to sit here and argue characterizations with Carlos again. I think he's just trying to poke me.
Okay, so and Mr. Hiroto, you said you didn't keep your promise, but you did. You always helped us, even though it was dangerous. You always fought for us. It's because of you that we're still here. I'm sure that you're truly inspired by Miss Eve's wishes. And Cosme comes up saying that Freddy's right and that all of them have been changed thanks to him.
Yeah.
And May chimes in saying it's because of his decision that she could even be born as an Eldiver. The feelings that connected you and Eve gave birth to me and let me fight for Eldora as I desired. So you were about to say something.
Well, I was reading comments, but no, the idea where she gave birth to me was just weird. But no, she means in the literal sense. She wouldn't exist if Hiroto had taken out what's his face. They would have wiped all Eldivers out. We already knew that most of them existed. They were just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But they also would have never gotten the chance to try the build decals, which is the only way she is alive. So literally by him making the decision to not destroy Riku because of his love of Eve, literally allowed all Eldivers to exist.
Plus, his decision to erase Eve when he did kept the entire server, the entirety of GBN from basically collapsing right then and there, destroying everything, and most likely any chance of Eve and the or May and the other build divers from being born,
Yeah.
or at
Well,
least continuing to exist.
the
If
weird
the
part
server,
is they did the reset after Sarah left. So did more Eldivers pop up post reset, or were they safe somehow because the glitches stopped happening? That's something they haven't covered. They just said that they found 87 of them so far. No, you're crying. They're having a whole thing about not shipping May and Hiroto because May's his daughter. She's not his daughter in the literal sense. Because she has a mama, as we find out.
Let's see. The wind blows. A slightly glowing flower petal flies past up into the sky. And goes, I see. So everything is connected. People's feelings and wishes, their lives, all of it. That's why you exist everywhere, close to me, to everyone. He looks up into the sky and sees Eve briefly up there. He smiles, a real, genuine, and not scary, creepy looking smile.
Yeah. And then we get the what the fuck was that moment?
Yeah, Parr breaks it to the sense like, May, what?
No,
WTF?
didn't they basically allude to them seeing her in the sky with that conversation? Didn't they literally go, "What was that?"
No, Parr was going up to May. It's like, so what the heck was that? Referring to May.
I thought they said, "What was that?" with him looking up at the sky like they saw it.
No, that
No.
wasn't. That's not. That was. I mean, I could see that as a read, but that wasn't what they were going on about because what May says immediately afterwards. Because it's like I don't under. May goes on to say it's like I don't understand tears compared to other Eldivers. I guess I hardly express my emotions. But if someone's crying, Mama told me it's better to make such gestures. Either stand by them while they cry, or wipe away their tears and give them a hug. And they're all shocked by this. And I find this interesting for personal reasons.
Yeah.
For someone on the spectrum, such as my son, understanding emotions can be very difficult. They'll often learn actions that would be considered appropriate for emotional situations, but maybe not understand why. They just know, oh, X situation is happening right now, so I do Y.
Yeah. It's a programmed response. You're told to do this because this is happening, not that you have the actual understanding of the thing that is happening.
Yeah, like for example, my son normally doesn't like being hugged, but after he learned that his hugs can make people happy, he's become a lot more willing to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's also it's often been discussed that Sherlock in Sherlock
Mhm.
is on the spectrum somehow, not just the fact that he's a high functioning sociopath. That like he has programmed responses. This is happening, so I should act this way. You know,
Yeah.
not that he has, even though he has real emotions and feelings, he just ignores them most of the time and stays in his logical mind. May, on the other hand, doesn't know. Now, we have not discussed how old May technically is as an Eldiver. Like, she could
I
literally.
try not to think about it too much.
Well, I mean, if she hasn't been around enough people and around long enough to have developed these things, Sarah, Eve both had very deep emotional understandings, and then spending more time with people evolved that to understanding that they were a life form. Clearly, May doesn't have that, so maybe she's just so new and she just hasn't had the time yet. Like maybe she's only like a few months old. Just saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Super Saiyan.
so Kazumi breaks the silence here, saying it's like asking who Mama is. May saying that that's what she calls her guardian. So my comment here is like, is she talking about McGee or Nanami?
That's the weird part, because the last time that she referred to her guardian, she was kind of talking about Nami, not Maggie. She lives with Maggie, but Nami's the one who takes her everywhere.
That's right, because she said her guardian is the one who made the
Her
dress.
outfit. But once again, they didn't.
And McGee has never been implied to be crafty in that sense. I mean, obviously a Gunpla builder, but that doesn't translate to sewing ability.
Since she called Nami her handler. I don't know. That's the weird part. It's like,
well, she referred to Nami as her handler, I think, during that point where she was dressed up like a Secret Service agent.
yeah, with the Gunpla base or Gundam base crew, basically, like, you know, special security. But the part that doesn't make sense to me is if Maggie is her guardian, like she lives in his bar, talks to him all the time, you know, like dad, almost. But why is then Nami the one they have to call to haul her around, not Maggie?
Maggie runs the bar and can't be taken away all the time.
He's got backup for that. We've seen his backup bartender guy. It's a weird thing. So it's like, is the guardian the person who has to protect her in public, or the person that she lives with? It's one of those things we don't know for sure yet.
It's one of those things that I almost wonder if we knew Japanese and could hear the word, understand the actual words she was saying, if maybe we would get a better translation for it, because it could just be it's something that doesn't translate as well to English for subtitle purposes.
Hold on, because they're trying to justify why Nami would have the time to haul Eve around. He says she has no life. Don't you mean is an employee of the Gundam base?
Yeah.
Did we forget that she was an employee of the Gundam base to begin with?
She
Not
was
to
there
mention
when
Koichi's. And she's Koichi's sister. You know, the guy who invented the body that she roams around in.
But yeah, she was there when Riku bought the 00 Gundam that became 00 Sky, or the
yeah, remember? And she did the whole dressing montage with Momo. So yeah, no, it's going to be a debate until we see who's who.
Yeah,
Guardian or Mama. Though I would think that it would be really strange if she referred to Maggie as Mama.
McGee seems to be potentially gender fluid in that, or doesn't really see themselves as one gender or the other. Because I was looking at their profile on the wiki, and it says that McGee often will use like masculine words have been used to describe the character, but the character also responds to feminine ones, referring to themselves as One-san, and even enjoying Sarah like referring to McGee as a pretty lady.
She didn't get fired. She's literally driving a Gundam-based car
Yeah.
to haul her around. I mean, I guess I didn't pay enough attention. I mean, obviously, Maggie is what Maggie is in GBN. Extremely flamboyant, super JoJo-esque. And then
Yes.
long hair, but still a very masculine body in reality. But the gender's a little weird. Like, Japanese gender pronouns are kind of weird when applied in this aspect. So it's like, it's never been said. I've always referred to him as a he, even if he's just gay and wants to be flamboyant, fine. You know, that was always what was more implied to me anyways. And it seems like his fellow bartender is potentially also gay.
Yeah. I have some friends who are transgender and stuff like that. So I would say more sensitive to it, but I see more of that stuff. So when I saw how McGee was being depicted, I was like, oh, that's probably what's going on there. And it's also Japan, and they're not doing the best job of replicating it, but it's Japan. We're lucky that they're even acknowledging LGBTQ plus people in a positive light at all.
Well, the weird part is the GBN gives you the freedom to literally be anything you want.
And McGee chooses to be rather buff looking.
Essentially the same body type with just some extra stuff happening. It's like,
heels.
Is anti-androgynous despite the misnomer. Anti-androgynous, I don't know that that's the thing. I think it's just androgynous is the word you're looking for. Basically, it's very ambiguous. It's like, we don't know for sure. It's never straight up stated. It probably never will. Maggie is the James Charles of Gundam World. Don't do that. Don't you even do that.
But in some ways, I think McGee enjoys the fact that they're so ambiguous and making people second guess things.
I get that part entirely. But like, I don't think there's I just always expected him that he's just a flamboyant gay man, to be totally honest. I've never seen him as that fluid, so to speak. For me, it was always
gender
just
fluid.
That's the
term I was looking for. Yeah,
you said that basically. But like, to me, I've never interpreted Maggie as just being gender fluid, because to me, in the real world, there would be would be a little bit bigger difference. To be like, in the real world, you would still be like, kind of like, we had the first couple episodes of first Divers. You're like, okay, what's going on with Maggie at first? And then you eventually see him in the real world. It's like, oh, it's just a gay bartender, and then hires other gay bartenders. Fine. But yeah, it's in GBN, it's an issue of like, okay, which way? I think that's just a game he sort of plays.
Anyway, so
we're willing to break liquor laws. Funny. Maggie is both masculine and feminine, even in and are exaggerated in GBN. Well, you can design yourself in GBN. Okay, so either way, we're getting down to the last couple seconds here.
Yep. Confusion aside, Hiroto thanks her, May smiles, saying that she was glad it helped. And everyone smiles and seems a little happier as we pan up to the starry sky. And then we see people running from a burning village. Because the series can't let us have anything happy.
They're teddy people.
And these are more teddy bear people. Or koala bear people.
Remember when we saw the teddy bear people and the squirrel kids? So there are other animals.
Squirrel girls?
Yeah, the little squirrel girls. Squirrel girls. That's hard to say. But these are definitely a bear village. But they're running from the Seltsam. But
so Seltsam's back.
Yeah. Hey. This kid in the blue is literally like, no, it's the Gunpla that helped us before. And it's like, I don't know if
it's like, you're going to get stepped on. Let's move.
Yeah. It's like, literally, things are on fire. Maybe that's not true.
And it grabs it. It grabs its giant lance, its eyes glow malevolently, it slashes, and it destroys some one-eye machines.
Yeah. Personally, they spent some time and effort on this close-up shot. Like,
oh my god, yes.
That's just gorgeous. I tried to get that in the thumbnail and I couldn't.
Though it does show how kind of silly that second set of eyes is.
Yeah, it's got the eyes on the face and then the extra eye on the V fin makes no sense. But then you go to the inside the cockpit and it looks kind of normal.
If a little bit overly bright.
Yeah, but like comparatively, the other guys, their cockpits looked like a Gundam cockpit. You got your screens, you got your windows. It's not just the sphere in every direction. This
they have a sphere, but because everything is darker, I don't think it's as noticeable as this. But everything is very bright in his cockpit, which is unusual in and of itself.
Yeah, but he's out of breath, as usual. Starting to think he has asthma. But like you said, he, takes on a whole bunch of one-eye machines, which I didn't get a shot of. But
it's hard to tell what he slashed at because you only see like bits and pieces.
Oh, missiles! They were like funnels or missiles.
Oh, okay.
They explode in midair after he hits them. Because if you see one of the one eyes, it's got big twin missile launchers on the shoulders.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the boy makes a comment. It's like it was protecting them.
Yeah, it just protected us. So he's still doing that thing.
And it looks to me like he's fighting to regain control or continue with control.
Yeah. He says, notice that it only has 2 glowing eyes right now. Well, sometimes it's only the thing on the head that glows. Sometimes it's all 5 eyes. Now only 2 eyes. Yeah, but none of his helmet eyes are lighting up right now either.
Yeah, the helmet eyes light up when Alice starts
take over
control on him.
Yeah. Yeah, the fucked up thing that Alice literally decided to abduct a real living person.
Right?
Yeah. So then we get teaser for next week.
Yep. Well, in the real world. Oh, wait. In the real world, we see Sid in his.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we see his vitals start to drop.
Or spike or something. Something changes.
I think it. Yeah, but by changes, the numbers went down.
I didn't know
that's not a good thing.
I thought his heart rate was going up or something.
No, down. Yeah, it wasn't in heart rate. I think it was his EKG. Actually, that would be heart rate. No, the other EMG. So it went from 29 to 28 and then was continuing to drop. If that was his blood pressure, he'd be dead. Heart rate, I mean, you can have a really low heart rate, especially if you're in a coma. But, the fact that whatever he's doing in GB or in Eldora, technically speaking, is still having a physiological effect on him somehow, which we saw in another preview where like things are going wrong. His sister is getting like super emotional. That was the one thing about that promo video before it came back is they jumped like several episodes ahead. So we get the teaser where everybody's getting together again in real life.
May's wearing her cute little dress again. I'm half expecting there to be a P. Bandai kit of this
someday. And then it looks like Kazumi's drinking out of a pill bottle.
That is a tiny little cup, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a pill bottle. It's weird. I don't know what's going on there. So obviously they met up wherever just to talk in person again because obviously shit's gone down. Also, I still want to know who the other Arja sibling is. Remember the whole discussion of the necklace?
That's for the third Bill Diver series.
Yeah. Then we get a shot of bits and pieces in a box.
Whose lance is that? Because that's not the.
That's a GNX. It's a Jinx lance regardless.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's some
just like I recognize the pieces.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of different things going on there. Different armors. Looks like some wings from different things. So I thought at first it was the tertium that was torn down, but these are clearly spare parts left over for things.
Yeah, and that's not the right kind of lance for the tertium.
No, not really. So, but it's definitely a Jinx lance gun. I built at least one of those.
Those might be, because some of those almost look like the rifle funnel things from the Zaban or something.
I'm not sure about that, but I'm definitely seeing some knee armor here. This is definitely leg and knee armor from something.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some binders kind of back here. That looks like a forearm from something. Actually, some of the parts almost look Moon Gundam like. This looks like a bit from a Curios.
Yeah, I was about to say that's from Curios. That
over.
most of these parts might be 00 related.
There's some more binders back here, but the wing thingies here look like something off of Strike, like the Isle Strike backpack, I think, or something along those lines. But the fact that they're all colorless is weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aegis Knight. Oh, yeah, they could be Aegis Knight parts. That would make sense. This is the Aegis Knight parts in a box.
Mm-hmm.
That's the lance for the Aegis Knight. And it transforms. Cool. That makes sense.
Not so this justice. Is so we may
it could be wait.
See the beginning or the actual first deployment of the Aegis Knight. That would be nice.
Is that the Justice Knight lance?
I don't have the Justice Knight with me.
I think it is. Yeah, that's right. It's in the office. Yeah, that is. It's just primered. So yeah, this is just Kazumi building his next kit, is what it is. Deactivated colors. There's no point in building it that way. Yeah, there's like no point in building it that way. Okay, but either way, if we jump to the next important thing, we're back at Mr. Kuadorn, where I guess Parr had the great idea to go ahead and build a new wing instead of letting him grow it back.
Told you.
You didn't tell me shit.
I told you. I've said repeatedly that he kept looking at it as like, I'm going to fix that.
I don't think you said he was going to fix that.
I totally said he was going to fix that.
I just want to know how the hell that's going to... Okay, so I'm guessing he engineered all of this too.
Yeah, like so it looks like it's sort of connecting over like the existing musculature.
Shoulder. So, I mean,
think like the setup that Hiccup made for Toothless.
That's why he left the sword. He wanted to make sure that when he left something behind, it would stay. So if he's going to leave the spare wing, it's going to stay there. That makes sense.
And disappear as soon as he log off, leaving.
But I mean, well, the weird part is Kuadorn doesn't fly by flapping his wings. He kind of just moves forward like a jet. So he just needed a wing, you know?
Right.
So it's funny. I do like the fact that he's standing on Valkylander to do the work. I just want to know how the hell you attach something non-organic to something organic in this world.
Very carefully.
Is he going to bolt it on? Is he going to glue it on? Bring in a giant bottle of super glue to glue it to his shoulder?
There'll be a giant bottle of Tamiya extra thin cement.
Yeah, but how are you going to glue it to a giant electronic dragon creature? I don't know. There's a lot of weird
crazy
stuff. Now we're getting into really weird territory now. It's like, hey, I'm going to build you a new wing out of Gunpla parts. What? Could you imagine? It's like, I'm assuming he didn't tell Kuadorn he's going to do this. He's just going to show up and say, hey, I'm putting this on you. What?
You do what with the what now? Why are you? Hey, what are you?
Yeah, he's already not really a big fan of the people of Gunpla. And mind you, this is only the second day they've come back since their agreement. The first day was just the 2-month break. Like, that was him letting them back in. They went to go help the people, got into the battle with Alice. Then they had the discussion and then they left.
Well, to be fair, we don't know how long things have been at this point.
Well,
maybe they've gone back and forth a couple of times since then.
I think it's the next fucking day. I think Freddy just lives at Mount Melag now. They're going to build a...
Well, how else would he get the hell down?
Assuming it's still at the ground level. I don't know. How did Muran get down when he went to go warn everybody?
Wile E. Coyote style.
He literally jumped off of the damn thing. Can we try the same to become more like Gunpla ourselves? Well, I just gotta wonder, like, is he just gonna make equipment for Corridor now too? We're just gonna bring in some giant cannons so he doesn't have to use his elemental powers. Gonna build him a space booster, even though we know he can fly in space.
Why not?
Well, at that
Dare
point,
I say, why not?
at that point, why don't they just build a giant cannon of their own, bring it in, and fire it at the moon?
Now I'm picturing them like stealing like the some of the custom parts from like Zoids, so that way they have a really big cannon that they use.
I feel like it's gonna come down to Kuadorn's gonna get destroyed, and then like that shoulder piece is gonna be what's left, and then it's gonna fade away too. Like Alice just kills Kuadorn, or he sacrifices himself to stop Alice, even though it doesn't work. And then like Par's left with that guilt of building him that wing. He wouldn't have been in that spot if he hadn't built him that wing.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen.
I mean, we already know Par is good at flying, so to speak. Like, so I mean, building a functioning wing, or is given the way his wings look, is it going to be like Archangel from X-Men? Like it's just going to be like a shing, like it just the metal comes out of nowhere.
Cool.
Because his wings do like open up kind of like that. You know, we saw when he was flying with Tertium. You know,
yeah.
So clearly that chunk was gone. So it's going to have to be designed similar to that. And we know he was working with a Wing Zero custom to make it happen. Although this looks like just straight plug plate, scratch built shit.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have brought in his brother for this. We know he can build just about anything. Why don't they build the furries?
MIA right now.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Why don't they build the furries actual good homes from the dollhouse parts? Because it have to be made out of shining sand. There's not enough shining sand to build a whole civilization and still be able to come in and out.
That's probably also why, like, they haven't tried bringing in a bunch of Gunpla and teaching them how to pilot or something.
Well, that's the question. Can a Gunpla that's brought in be piloted by someone who isn't the pilot? You kind of are attached to said Gunpla in GBN. It's, you know, remember how you just kind of into it? You know? So I mean, they can let Freddy in the cockpit, but they've shown no ability of Freddy to be able to like touch the controls and stuff.
They still technically haven't shown how everybody gets into the cockpits this season.
We're not talking about that.
We know how it worked in the original Bill Divers series, but we never actually see it happen in this one.
True. Now, here's an interesting idea. What if they brought in build machines, like heavy equipment, bulldozers and the like, to actually construct? You know, they don't have to only bring Gunpla. Like literally log in. Mind you, every time they log in, they have to go through the main hub and then into the mission briefing to go to Eldora. So it's like log in with a few mobile workers, maybe the tractor or two, you know, actually build some stuff. And we know they can bring in more than one suit. So bring in like 6 and then teach everybody how to use them. Leave half of them behind when they log out so that they can just continue to build shit. Why not? Literally give them real technology. They just ranger teleport into their MS. But no, he doesn't. We've often discussed that. On Eldora, they never show how they get in or out of their Gunpla, because the Gunpla just are there. In GBN, half the time you just push the button and you just, you know, you're instantly in your Gunpla as it appears. Here, we know the Gunpla appear when they do, and they have to get in and out of them, but we never see them like climbing in and out of the cockpit.
Which because we know how it works in GBN, that would have been a big sort of big sign that something was weird, that if they suddenly couldn't just teleport in and out of the Gunpla.
Why don't they build a buttload of turrets to mount on the temple walls? Bring them in and leave them for defense purposes.
They got lots of sand, so they probably could. They probably could do that.
I mean, turrets don't have to be huge, you know.
The main thing is being able to control them.
No, you autopilot that shit. And I mean, it's not like they can't teach the people who have nothing better to do right now how to sit in a turret and point a gun. Plus,
well,
you have remember,
if they can.
Well, a lot of them are leftover resistance members who do know how to use weapons and drive vehicles.
Yeah. Well, that again apply, like you were saying before. Can they basically non-GBN users use equipment that's brought in from GBN?
What if? Here's an interesting idea. So we know that Sid or Shido was with the resistance for a little while.
Uh-huh.
What if the cars they drive he built and brought them in?
An interesting thought, but I think enough of the
They never
design...
said the cars. They never said the cars were from the ancients or from the builders or whatever.
I mean, I always
creators.
figured they were, because they show all the stuff. They show all that the technology at the bases and stuff that they were using. The cars have similar color scheme and design to the weapons and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it would also explain why they look like puppy. The cars look like puppies, because Sid probably looked at it and thought it'd be funny.
I think it makes more sense if he built them and gave them to them. Like, maybe. I mean, but to me, I look at it like, okay, so the ancients, we know they went to war with somebody. Mm-hmm. So they left behind a lot of weapons, and their weapons don't work on the Alice Gundams or Alice mobile suits. They don't affect the One Eyes, essentially. For me, I go like, wait, they left behind all of these cargo carrying cars, hover cars, millions of years ago, and they're perfectly fine after being left in these jungle bases for a millennia or two.
Where they are going, they don't need roads.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, so some of the technology makes sense that the ancients left it behind. Some of it's like, wait, did Shido give them this? Like, because also, how did they ever figure out how to drive the cars, and why weren't they giving them to everybody to use? Why specifically?
I always figured that was because they didn't have that many to go around.
Well, we saw at least 6 or 7 whenever they abandoned that one base, right? Remember the jungle base that they all abandoned before the South Sam got there? They had a lot of cars, or several at least. Now, mind you, a lot of them got blown up later in later attacks, and most of the ones that we've seen, either the longer ones or the smaller ones, for the most part, are either gone or they've got them at the base. Like the one that Maya was driving, much smaller, like just a car, not a big cargo hauler, like what's his face had. So I mean, they're super simple design. I mean, you literally straightforward build. All it's got to do is pilot. Just an interesting idea.
It is a thought, yes.
Tesla just said maybe that's why the other temples have no sand. They used it all to make puppy cars and other supplies. So temples aren't just ravaged and the sand's blown away. They actually have used up a buttload of sand from those places. Interesting thought. And if they just get destroyed, they just stay destroyed. They don't turn back to sand. Maybe we should bring some more handguns from Celestial Being. Yeah, have May bring in some guns. Once again, why the hell is anything that they have? Like, they should really bring in tools. Like, if you could just give yourself items and you can just leave them. Like, not even Gunpla-related items. Like, put like a buttload of shovels in your item reserve and bring it in as supplies for the people.
Here's a toolbox.
Yeah, here's a toolbox. Be interesting. Whether they bring in Hashmal and some Plumas. No. We know the IBO doesn't exist in this universe somehow.
Yet, at least.
Yet, yeah. But yeah, I don't think there's anything left to discuss. But no, that was the last image.
Yep.
So I mean, essentially, I mean, it was a good emotional episode, which is always nice.
Yes, very
Dialogue,
much.
dialogue heavy, which is fine. Except basically, all you did was transpose the entire conversation. Bring in an initial D kit and leave it for Maya to drift around the enemies. No, she only drifts in my interpretations. Do they have radio? Do they have music? They don't have radio,
No.
but I guess they don't have music like as a people.
I mean, I imagine they have music, but they don't broadcast it or anything like that.
Well, obviously not, but like I would think the resistance with all the technology they found, they've got to have communicators somehow. Not just relying on people to drive city to city, town to town. I've assumed those guys have communicators.
It's hard to say because every time they've talked about like messages from other cities and stuff like that, it always seems to imply like a messenger came and dropped off a message or something like that.
Well, now for sure. Because those are usually coming from village to village. I don't know. It's just an interesting thought because we know that they definitely should have access to some of this ridiculous technology. But it makes sense that the Gunpla are better at it because it's what they were designed to do. Not to mention they're tapped into the ancients' systems somehow. We still need to know how that bridge. That's like my big thing.
Yeah.
We've gotten all the backstories. I want the bridge between the ancients, GBN, and current Eldora. How did that happen? Like,
and confirmation of the connection between the ancients and the Eldivers.
yeah. Oh, something that we didn't cover in the teaser. The Haros that they're feeding.
Mm-hmm. Why are they feeding Haros?
Why are they feeding Haros?
So, what are they feeding Haros? Why are they feeding Haros? How are they feeding Haros?
They're the color-coded Haros that we know are part of the actual things. So somebody was just mentioning the Haro loader. What if they bring in the Haro loader to do what I was just talking about? To help build and do stuff. Yeah. So what if they actually do that? What if they actually bring in some Haros as equipment to help? That'd be interesting.
Considering that we have yet to see any of the Haro plus stuff other than a Haro show up in Build Divers, even though they have Build Divers logos on them, it'd be nice to actually see that.
Yeah. So we know we see Haros, and they're small. They're like little bitty. They're not like beach ball size.
So, they're more seed size than first Gundam size or UC size.
The ones in seed were decent size.
No, they were like
they weren't like softballs. Size. No, they were bigger than that.
But they weren't nearly as big as UC Haros.
Maybe. I don't know. I figured most Haros are roughly the same size. Even the 00 Haros are almost beach ball sized.
No, they're the seed ones. The ones in seed are small.
So the Haro loader will be tiny in GBN. Not necessarily, because you remember the Haros are usually people signed in as a guest, and if you did that and you gave yourself a equipment, it would be decent size. Plus, you could just make it whatever size you want. I mean, who cares? Scaling is in the eye of the beholder. You go up, increase 200% basically. But no, this was a good episode. We finally got Hiroto to break, which is what we needed. So presumably soon, and somehow involving a volcano, we'll get the Saturnix. Why? It'll be drilling with its drill breaker. Or breaker drill, I think is what it's called. Have to look at it again.
Giga breaker.
Yes. You can't call it a giga drill breaker, though they should. The real question, this is how tired I am. The real question would be, what is the final armor going to be used for? Because you see the new reveals of the kit, it has several functions, especially with the ring and the other things on its back.
Yeah.
And we already know there's some other interesting satellite weapons and stuff like that that are kind of along the way. Also, it's another one that doesn't come with a core Gundam, which annoys me.
Yeah, there's only one kit that comes with a core 2, and it's your Raven.
Yep. Kind of dumb. Construction arc. I mean, that's an interesting idea that maybe they're doing construction arcs. They're like trying to help them rebuild or something, you know. The final battle versions. I don't even know what the hell that's going to be.
Yeah, because there's that set that's on pre-order at a lot of the places.
Yeah, it's all still in shadow. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's just going to be all the kits together in one set with like a special coating or some shit.
Yeah, they're probably going to be special coating or translucent.
It says Neptate is for space. I'm like, we already have a space one. So what is? It's like
what
we have
makes
a
it
space.
different from what makes it different from Jubitive? I mean, Jubitive is space type and it uses all sorts of it's more realistic space type. You have thrusters everywhere for maneuvering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can see Neptate being space type, but it's a more sci-fi feeling, if that makes sense.
It has every one of the suits has, they have a specific use. And mind you, we've only seen up to Raven.
Yeah.
Even in the flashbacks. That's as far as he got. So in theory,
we only saw the drills for Saturnix being used by it was the V2, wasn't it?
That was the drill itself, but not the armor. Yeah. But that's just equipment. So, we know he has equipment. It has many versions of Big Ring super weapon. It said Neptate is for deep space. I mean, but what's in universe? Because he's really using it in a universe. What would be the point? It would have to serve a purpose. Hiroto has yet to do something that doesn't serve a specific purpose. Even Air 3 being a multi-use vehicle, so to speak, it has a purpose. It's just an all-arounder. Everything else has a very specific use. Like, presumably, Saturnix is going to be like a high-temperature driller, more than likely. I mean, I could read the thing over there if I want to. Yeah, I mean, I have it right there. I could probably read the description if I want to. But I'll save that for the review. But no, I think like Neptate is going to be a very specific design, and yes, it does have some stargazerness to it, but other than going that way fast eventually, Stargazer wasn't much of anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool looking design, but its main claim to fame was it's not even an FTL. It's just
it's sublight.
It's a different way of going fast without using fuel.
Yeah, it's basically a photon sail.
Yeah, it was a fancy
solar wind. Solar wind. Yeah, so I mean, like, and people keep talking about Soul Zero. I don't think there's going to be a Soul Zero.
We haven't seen anything that would indicate that exists. I think it's an obvious thing for them to do, and so I'm kind of surprised that we don't have like a Soul Zero or a Luna Zero or Luna 1/2 or something like that.
I don't even think there's going to be a Luna thing, because then they have to go with all the moons. If anything, a Luna thing would be in a to me, wouldn't be a whole armor. It would be equipment for the Earth Gundam. That would make the most amount of sense. People want a Plute-9. That'd be so stupid. Plute-9.
I want Plute-9, but just because I think it was dumb that Pluto's not a planet anymore. But
the intro showed the intro showed the Neptate going beyond the solar system. No, it showed all of them just flying around, is what it showed. And it still doesn't make sense the way that worked, because the sun was over there and Neptune flew this way. it's like, think about that. I don't know. If it was meant for deep space, why? I mean, the only reason that would exist is if they knew they had to get somewhere, and for some reason they thought this Gunpla was the way to do it.
Unless it was something that maybe it was something he was designing with Eve's wish in mind. Because remember, she did say, "I would
No, that's what
love,
people are
I
arguing
want
in
to
the
go
chat.
there, the stars."
Yeah.
So maybe
But I mean,
that's it.
yeah,
But we never saw it.
But in universe, that's where she brought up the question: can we fly to wherever we want through the solar system and stuff? He was talking about, you know, having a gate and space dock and all that stuff. She's like, no, we leave from here and we fly to there. But I don't know that GBN is set up as an infinite universe. Even if the solar system, the like Earth's solar system, or the solar system, I should say, is maybe set up that way, where you could fly to the other planets, at least to the ones in Gundam, I would think. You know, throughout different Gundam series.
Maybe, but we know for a fact that everything's kind of separated by gates and stuff like that. It's not like Ready Player One, at least the book version. I've never saw the movie, where in theory you could if you had the Millennium Falcon, you could hop in it and travel from your starting world to the Star Trek world if you wanted to, right?
Oh
Do
yeah,
that Falcon, but you
I
can
think
travel to any of the infinite systems and universes and stuff like that that exist within the Oasis.
Yeah, I mean, based on Stargazer, that is a very long-term deep space exploration vehicle. That's not a need to get there quick vehicle. You know, if you need that, you want the Quanta or the Phoenix. You know, which is technology they don't remotely have, even in their
Absolutely,
imagination.
it has to get there yesterday.
Yeah, we absolutely have to get there right now. You have to be there at the same time that you're here, because we're breaking quantum physics. It's like, you need to be on the other side of the universe. Yes, do it. Okay. Let me do a quick thingy, just real quick. I want to look at the Neptate while we're here, and then we'll go.
Yeah, because it's getting late. Both of us are.
It's 10:47.
Dragon.
Who you calling a dragon?
Calling us a dragon.
Can I be cool with her? What is that? Gundarium alloy model. There's another Grandpa Gundam coming. Ooh, new BB Senshi Gundams. Ooh, new Daishogun. Anyways, I'm going through a thing.
Twitter.
And, huh?
You going through the Bandai Spirits Twitter?
Yeah. Dude, there's a Gundam based Mobile Haro.
Oh, I saw that.
That's cool.
It was a cool.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so the Neptate. Fucking hate that name. Just the Nate Gundam. Okay, so it's got like basically like the binders on the back that make the rings that look like claws almost.
Yeah.
Which are weird. And yeah, I get that it's got like the Stargazer, like yellow lines and stuff like that on the shoulder, but like I just don't see what it is. I mean, in a way, you know, it has a Gundam X feel to it, but not with the giant satellite cannon thing. It has tiny little handles for something. I don't know what that's all about. But the armor itself, so the Neptate unit, and yeah, when it says Hiroto support unit, that everything that just comes as armor says that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, but it shows that as with the G3 color scheme, which is interesting. Unfortunately, there's not enough info on the box to tell us anything. But yeah, the Gundam itself is like nothing impressive at all. So it means it all comes down to the equipment, which we all know is the truth. You know, I don't know. I want to know what its purpose is. I feel like it's almost meant to be a defensive one, because the one thing we haven't seen is one that has massive, like, you know, perfect defense.
Mm-hmm.
Everything he has is for offense.
Oh, so maybe it's shit. Maybe
Did I just lose you?
I lost you for a second there. Yeah.
So the Jupiter had the little shields, but this thing could have like
Right.
a giant defensive shield to help stop maybe, I don't know, a giant
Yeah.
orbital cannon.
Yeah, like an eye field or what is it called in Double O? Gene shield.
GN field,
Gene field. Okay.
but there's no GN drives on it. I mean, I get that it would be cool. Somebody's like, okay, the Soul Zero and it has a solar furnace or a GN drive. I mean, if he was going to go that route, just having a GN drive on the core Gundam would have been the way to go, and then every
Yeah.
single thing he has GN powered, and then he just has infinite abilities because that's what GN drives do. Maybe it's designed to block the moon cannon. I just said that, Mandalorian Blue. Thank you. But no, I think it's more likely that like that goes out. It puts out like a giant eye field.
Or like in Transformers, Trailbreaker can make a giant shield, and does so in one of the early season 1 episodes, if I remember correctly.
Carlos, the problems of an Eldora could just be solved if they had the Quanta Gundam. I mean, yeah, I guess if you just mean for offensive capabilities. But I mean, if you're going to go that far, any of the final Gundams from the Awakening of the Trailblazer movie would be strong enough to fight Alice.
Get our Phoenix Else Gundam
No,
involved in there.
no, we're not going with Physics Breaker, the Gundam. No, the what did we call it? Was it the Quanta Phoenix or Quantex? Is that what we called it? I think we called it the Quantex Gundam, the quantum GN powered Phoenix. The thing it can affect time and break reality just at the thoughts of whoever the heck, you know. So Psycho Frame combined with a solar furnace literally can do anything.
Also with Else cells or whatever.
You don't even need the L's tech. Because all that is just, you know, liquid crystal tech. Whoop-de-doo. We don't need that.
It would look rad as hell, and that's why you need it.
I don't want it. No, we're not going to use Turn A. Turn A would just screw everything over. No, actually, if the ancients were smart, they would have used the Turn A because they would have destroyed Alice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, they were the best. They left behind their moon cannon just assuming they turned it off. Instead, they forgot they actually just put it in sleep mode so somebody bumped the mouse a little.
They didn't even like put it in sleep. It's like they like locked the screen or something like that and walked away.
Solar furnace and Ahab reactors? No. Well, thing is, if you have a GN drive, you don't really need the Ahab reactor. Now, if you have a GN based Ahab reactor, so you actually get the indestructible nature and constantly recharging nature, which GN drives do that too, but Ahab reactors do it faster. If you combine the two, that would be cool. Because
the big thing with the Ahab reactors is that they're really, really tough. That's why they were able to use. That's why
they keep using them.
Yeah, and why they hooked up the Barbatos as the generator for their base.
Yeah, the Ahab reactors are in infinite energy. They're indestructible. They can create gravity. So GN drives eliminate mass. So they already break physics by erasing mass.
Okay.
Ahab reactors can create gravity, which is basically adding mass.
So they can create mass.
Yeah. They're affecting mass, but they're not creating mass. So if you had a combo Ahab GN drive, so Ahab reactors just make power and that just gets applied to everything else. They have to use regular fuel to get around. GN particles are enough to move a GN powered thing. Plus, Ahab reactors don't create an energy field to stop beams. They just decided to create armor that did that. So We don't need an I field. We don't need a GN field. We just need nano laminate armor on our Quantex that's AHAB GN powered. So it breaks all the physics.
So we need the Barba Quantex.
No, it just needs to be the Quantex Gundam, but it's got some AHAB in there. So we can just call it the Agen drive. So hold on, GN drives got needed in GBN. That's why you see Ogre with 8 of them. Yeah, no, they have a lot of. There are GN powered things. Oh, by the way, I forgot if I brought this up or not. I think I slightly did. So when we saw the teaser and we see the Alice Core Gundam thing going Trans Am, I think he's copying Ogre because it's red armor, it's got spiky bits, and all this other stuff. So I think he copied Ogre's either Jinx or his Rise 210, which is GN powered as well.
Did he go Trans Am?
Yeah, he did a lot.
Okay, I couldn't remember if he did or not. It's been a while.
Yeah, his Ogre Trans Am basically is what it's called. That's where the eye does the thing, comes down and lights up, and then it goes Trans Am.
Right. Now
so I 100% see Alice going, well, that was strong enough to beat this. I need this as well. So he actually is going to create. So that means that Alice actually creates a GN drive. Fuck.
Considering that one of the big drawbacks to the GN drives and in the Double universe is that nobody knows how to make them. Yeah.
No, it's not that. People know how to make them. It's just that you have to have the proper particle decay that only happens in Jupiter's atmosphere. That's the only way to make a real GN drive. You can only make them. Well, the GN Tau drives and later on just the ones that everybody uses are fine because they got rid of the negative particles and everything, because basically that was the problem with the fake GN drives that the Thrones used. They weren't pure. They were rushed through the solar furnace, used particles and stuff like that that were wrong, and it was just making all kinds of free radicals and crazy shit happen. Not to mention they didn't do it in Jupiter's atmosphere. So, but they would have the ability to do it anyways, but the fact that the L's could basically just infinitely create GN drives for them anyways, it wouldn't matter. Remember the giant flower he makes at the end of that is literally just spewing GN particles. So
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, hold on. Can a multi-GN drive utilize Trans Am with a single GN drive? If it has GN power, yeah. Why not? I mean, it's just it can have multi-drive but not be synchronized. Basically just using them as extra power sources the way the Alvatori did.
I was about to say, because that's the difference between the 00 and like that giant ship that had like 12 of them sticking out the back or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the Alvatori used a bunch of Tau drives that were all attached to it. And then, of course, that's how the celestial being, the actual ship, functions. So it has a giant GN core to move it, but it also uses GN drive to fire its massive particle cannon. It literally empties all the particle storage into one shot. And then it grabs the next drive, hooks it up, fires, grabs the next drive, hooks it up, fires. So you could technically have a buttload of drives and you can use Trans Am, but if they're not synchronized, it doesn't matter. It would basically be like, okay, use Trans Am with this drive. Okay, that ran out. I'm out of particles. Use the next drive. Use the next drive. Basically, just an infinite thing. Kind of like when Danzo had that arm full of Sharingan, and you kept using Tsukuyomi over and over to keep himself from death. Just do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Just keep doing it. But yeah, Psycho Frame combined with the GN drive, with the durability and infinite thing, plus the ability to just fuck physics completely and give it nano laminate armor so that beams don't affect it at all. And it would just be a bit more durable, but it could still use an I field or a GN field to protect itself from physical damage as well. So it would be the ultimate Gundam. Fuck your Moonlight Butterfly. This thing can affect time. Like Moonlight Butterfly just breaks down technology, like destroys electronics and technology essentially.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, this thing can literally make it to your technology never function in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like not only that, it can transport you to the other side of the world or fly at faster than light. Or it's like, oh, I don't feel like quantizing. I'm just gonna fly that fast. Yeah, no, that's why those two would be ridiculous together. Throw an EMP and just KO everything. Yeah. See, this is why we abandoned GBN and just make broken Gunpla. Well, you wouldn't have. Well, I mean, if you can use the Quanta in fighters, but she never used it to like the absurd levels that it'd have to be nerfed to some
Yeah.
degree. I mean, it's like you think everybody going out there with a turn A is just moonlight butterflying everywhere and just wiping out the competition. No. Wasn't nano laminate armor just the paint? No, that's why it's nano laminate armor. It's the armor is made of nano laminate, which is basically just what it says. It's microscopic, laminated armor. Just super durable. Huh? Yeah, I know. EMP Gundam with turn A plus X butterfly just blapped everything with an EMP. Okay. You don't even get that far because Phoenix just goes, oh, your drive doesn't exist anymore. And you're like, crap. It's like EMPs are great. A temporal wave is better. It's like, oh, that moonlight butterfly you got there, that's cute. Oh, your drive no longer has bolts in it because it never did. It's like, oh, the wires for your computer never existed. It's like that is the most reality bending bullshit ever.
It really is. Though
like,
if you go back to like Zeta Gundam and stuff like that, they talk about like new type stuff and existing outside of time and stuff like that. So there's precedent for it, but yeah, it is some weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure nano laminate armor also works with AHAB reactors, but then again, if you have like the gamma nano laminate sword, which is powered by an AHAB reactor, it can cut straight through nano laminate armor. So those things can happen. So
I do notice something about nano laminate armor and colors that something about how it reacts to the AHAB reactor and that it varies depending on what kind of armor or what kind of paint you're using or something like that. And
that's what Andreas was just saying. He said that
that's why you only see certain colors.
A paint but white is the most expensive. Seems like a lot of them were white. So wait, that's the reason that the Flaros is painted pink is because it's cheaper and easier?
I think it's painted pink because what's his name? Just loves pink mech. His pink mech.
You activated Killer Queen's third bomb, bites the dust up. Rita in the Phoenix. Scroll that higher than Sky Wings alter math. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to look at it. Because it says in the kit manual, says the armor is made, it's just paint. So they just apply paint to some shit and it reacts to the particles. That's like just nano laminate coating, then not armor. I don't like when they do that bullshit. Either way, yeah, it is go time. But either way, to me, it's better than the phase shift armor and stuff like that. Just cooler tech.
I don't know. I thought the phase shift was kind of cool, but that's just because I thought the idea of it changing color was neat.
Yeah, I think that's all it was. They're like, hey, we're just going to turn up the whatever. My brain's tired. It's like, we're just going to turn the color on. No, for me, I would have actually programmed it to be neutral colored so that you don't even know it's on. That's way stealthier. Like, it's like, wait, it didn't change. Or it's the opposite. You have full color when it's deactivated and it goes neutral color when it's activated. So they just think you're good to kill, and then weapons and everything just bounces off. Psycho Frame plus EMP, Moonlight Butterfly, then Lightspeed, Galaxy, Destruction. You don't even need that. It's like Phoenix can just go, you don't exist anymore, and Quanta gives it the ability to just exist everywhere in the universe at once. Yay. Like, boom, universal destruction. Moonlight Butterfly just sitting there like, oh, come on. I had to actually fly to make this work. You just stood there, waved your hand. Like just Doctor Strange that shit. Just
this is cheap. Nerf, please.
Sorry, I was just having interesting ideas. It's like, how much could they really affect? Like, if they can they only affect things that are in front of them, or could they literally go, all right, I want the new Gundam to be more durable when it's stopping whatever from falling into the atmosphere. Like, make the armor stronger, give it its funnels back. Just like literally alter time that way. But all right, guys, we got to go. It's thing. Do the like and subscribe thing. Make sure you come back every Sunday while we do these ReRISE things. Come back tomorrow on my channel where I'm going over all of the core Gundams up until Jupiter. Yes, I did it all in one review. You're welcome. Give us an engineering feat. Go subscribe to the secondary channel if you want to see a lot of things from behind the scenes. Plus, I'm doing a lot more over there because, frankly, it's more fun than just building Gunpla. And I guess if you want to go watch this stuff, it's fine. Do you have anything coming up this week?
Let's see. What do I have coming up? I have my review of the HGUC Zagak-E coming up. One of the kits I got as a Father's Day present. So
Zagak-E.
And I actually did a little bit. I painted thrusters on that one. So
you painted thrusters?
All these little red parts, because I was looking at the stickers and I was like, no, I refuse to use these things.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. So, all right. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
Bye.